He does all sorts of different configurations.
Oh, let me.
Everything that tastes good, I guess. He was.
I better.
Hey, you might want to
Volume
fucking
down,
silence
that's
your shit. God.
Yeah.
Trying to fuck shit up, McElroy.
I'm turning my phone on.
Oh, these will be comfy. Okay, these are good.
All right. Yeah. Good.
Let me see.
You should have plenty of slack there.
There we go.
See, we're about I wish we would have already done this, but I'm not in a drastic hurry. But we're about to tap the table.
Okay.
I got another one of these.
Okay.
Right. But we're about to tap the table for network, and we'll run a gutter underneath, just like a piece of gutter, right?
All right.
And then I'm putting a little table down here. That's an amp on the other side of this mixer I just got. And
okay. That makes sense.
We've been running tests, and this mixer is hooked into like my monitors over here. Like I have two 18s and two 15s. So there's like a PA in here.
That's funny.
So, but that's one of the goals is to do like tiny desk style shows. Right?
Yeah, I just want to do something because I have a bunch of people I'd like to get over eventually, but it'll be some time, man. I got too much other shit going on.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'm trying to do that too.
Yeah, no. You and me are in the same boat.
Dude,
I just got to get the just coordinating everything is actually the worst.
Planning is the fucking takes the most.
Yeah, that group that you added me to, like this, people having the schedule feature. Like I'm trying to get that on my website that way, because dude, like a lot of time is spent like, well, what time's good for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about Wednesday or Friday? All right, Wednesday's good. How about these hours? It's like, I just joke around. It's like digital ping pong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just like,
I've been invited to like 7 podcasts already. It's funny because I did one with my buddy Daniel, like the comedian in Texas. And he's like he's a blue belt under Caio Houston or something like that. And then after that, like a bunch of people like saw it and started. Was like, oh, I want to have this guy. And I was like, oh, I told no to a bunch of people. And I was like, nah, I want to talk with somebody who's comfortable and whatnot. And the next thing you know is like, we were like, yeah, okay, I'll do these. But it's been weird, man.
I've been on a couple, but I don't know. Like I could promote myself on other people's podcasts. That's a good idea. I was thinking about it when you.
It's what it's for. I think that's what it's for.
You could get quite a bit of exposure just going back and forth to different.
Yeah.
Well, for us, it's worth because of comedy. When do you want to start, by the way?
Hey, we're recording right now.
Shit. All right,
free for all, dude.
Free for all.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh,
that's what's crazy with us.
I was waiting for a green light to come on.
I don't know if
you're on the air.
I'm going to have one of those right up there.
Yeah, that's what you need.
I got a huge TV going here. And then above, it's going to say, it's
because I was like, I don't know if you want me to introduce myself and shit.
Yeah, well, hey, let's go ahead and intro you dudes and tell our Cinderella story.
He's just fuck him. He's just here to fuck in. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'm the driver.
Yeah. Hey, commentary.
Nah, man. This is always so funny.
So Richard,
say your name, Richard.
God. My full name is Ricardo de Aviles. I'm originally from Arecibo, Puerto Rico. So I was born, raised, and educated in Puerto Rico until 2008.
You mentioned that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't come to the States. I mean, I'd come on vacation before, but like I learned English back home and everything. My dad was the one who was like really insistent on me learning English. So that's how
Did your whole family come here?
No, just a couple cousins, some uncles, but they're in Texas. I'm alone in Missouri. It's just me, my wife, and my kid.
Yeah.
I came to the States in 2008 to join the military. That was an experience.
So you came here just to join the military?
Yeah, I came. I landed in the States January 9, 2008, and I had never seen what below 72 degree weather looked like.
Yeah, dude.
Until that day.
It sucks.
Throw the Puerto Rican guy into that. Like, Jesus Christ, it sucked.
That'll make you homesick.
Oh, dude, homesick. You don't even know.
Dude, how was last winter for you in Missouri? Because it motherfucking rained here.
It wasn't that bad.
It was like the rainiest winter I ever remember.
I don't think it was that bad.
It was it was chilly, but it wouldn't get cold enough to really snow. It just get to that point, and everything was just wet and cold, which I thought was worse. Weird. It was miserable.
People around here just kept joking about like the rain never going away and the mud never going away.
It wasn't that bad.
No, we had, well, Springfield might be a little bit different, but I live out in the sticks.
It wasn't that bad for us.
And you get a lot of rain. We get a lot of mud. We get a lot of flooding.
Yeah. It was
probably not so much in Springfield because they got the, the fancy guttering and stuff like that. And,
it was all right.
Water treatment.
Yeah. So, man, that's did you guys have like what inspired you to join the United States military? Like, do they have like a recruiting program? Like,
they do. A lot of people don't understand this, but a lot of people don't even know that Puerto Rico is part of the United States. It has been part of the United States since since 1950 actually, and we've had democratic elections since 1948. Because Puerto Rico was occupied by the United States in 1898 during the Spanish War, and they pretty much just came in here and took over the island in 6 hours, I think, or something like that. Because it's tiny. It's 100 by 32.
You listen to Dan Carlin at all?
No, who's that?
Hardcore History, the podcast. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times, but he has this podcast about what you're talking about. He hits on it, right?
Yeah.
But called American Peril, and it's motherfucking good, dude.
Because they came to us, and they took us over from the Spaniards. And the problem that Puerto Rico confronted for many, many years was that we served in the military and everything, but we didn't have like rights and stuff like that. So like that's when they created like the Commonwealth, or in Spanish they call it ELA, Estado Libre Asociado. And like then that came through, and then we had our first governor elected by the people, which was Luis Muñoz Marín in 1948. And then, he created like a bunch of our laws and our constitutional stuff.
Oh,
and
so he's like your George Washington.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. But the problem with Puerto Rico is they don't really teach you a lot about American history. So like when I came to the States, like I had no idea where the Rocky Mountains were, what Mount Rushmore was about. Like I didn't know shit. Yeah. I didn't know anything about that. But I could tell you all the names of the municipalities in Puerto Rico and stuff like that. And I spoke pretty good English because I started being an interpreter when I was in high school.
Oh yeah, dude! Whoa, yeah. Well, first such remark on how sexy your pronunciation is, right? Yeah. I have a friend in here named Kev, and he's his family's just from Mexico, but he'll say like Nicaragua.
Nicaragua.
He rolls it, and I'm like, say it again. Yeah. But dude, a translator. I shared something on Facebook recently. It was like, oh, you commented on it, right? Right?
I remember.
About the what's something, and then somebody that I work with commented on it, was like, who would do this? I was like, you ever heard this saying?
Yeah.
But man, like the reality is you probably know 10,000 more words than I do.
Probably.
in your mental 3 capacity. Languages. Yeah. Okay. So you speak 3. What else?
I've been learning Portuguese for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So the Portuguese, I'm just waiting to get a little more to do to go to Brazil and like live down there and stuff like that to learn it, because you have to do immersions. Because I'm certified as an interpreter and a translator for Spanish, and then I have a bachelor in criminology and stuff like that, and then I have 4 minors.
What are your minors in? I have a minor in philosophy.
Psychology. Psychology. It was psychology, organizational leadership, something else in frickin' psychology, and then 2 certifications. 2 certifications. One is child pornography investigations, and the other one was counterterrorism investigations.
Did you being in the military kind of lead to some of that? Like for you to become interested? How did you
like in what?
Well, like those certifications, like is that just like kind of a subset of the criminology that you were interested in, or were you exposed to things?
Well, yeah, like
some of that they already teach you in the military.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff they teach us, but I was an MP in the military. I was military policeman.
Okay,
so like for me, it was really weird because my experience in the military, like I kind of sort of fitted in. But like I wasn't, and we were just talking about this in the car, like I was never really with like a clique of people. So like I just always stayed like to myself. And you have the good old boy system and whatnot in the military, which that's anywhere you go. But in the military you see it a lot. And like I went in because I honestly just wanted to go to war. Like it's the main reason I went in.
Did you deploy?
Well, lo and behold, I graduated basic training May 28 of 2008, and then June 25th, 2008, I was heading to Baghdad, Iraq.
Okay.
So yeah. Your face is like, what?
8 months later.
Well, I know a whole bunch of people that have deployed, you know, and several people I went to high school with have even not come back, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just join up and then you boom.
Yeah, I did everything I wanted to do in the military.
That's great.
Like I got SRT certified. I worked in an SRT for a while in Korea. I was stationed in Korea for a while.
Got to see the world.
Yeah, went to Japan a couple times on vacation. Loved Japan.
Did you train any martial arts like while you were in the military?
I started doing jiu-jitsu in 2010. I used to go to a place in St. Louis, which I can't even remember. I don't even remember if it was JW. And I started because, believe it or not, like I used to like not like know how to fight at all. Like basic training, we did combatives and I would cry every time. And it's just really embarrassing for me. And I remember like I had a guy named Joe Pellegrino that he started introducing me to like combative and stuff. So I started doing jiu-jitsu like regularly. And that's where it started. And then I went to Korea and trained at John Franco's for a while. But then I didn't like really get like promoted or anything until like, I came and started training like 3 times a day regularly at Brian's school in 2013. So that's what I did for like a long time. I just trained and competed.
Yeah, and you're still training at Brian's now?
I still train under Brian, and I'm still training there. Just a little less.
Yeah,
just a little less.
I met him, which I think we talked about it on the podcast, but at Jack Toffer's house. Have you trained with Jack before?
Yeah, Jack's really nice.
Yeah, dude.
Jack's super nice.
I will probably. I'm trying to work out a time to do another. I've been doing these digital privates with Jack.
Yeah,
right. Like he'll go work with Hickson, and I'm like, bro, what'd you work on?
Yeah,
holler at your boy.
Yeah,
right. But we've done 3 since March.
Have you seen his guard stuff?
Oh yeah,
his invisible guard.
That's all we worked on is guard.
Okay. That's what I took a private with him on.
Yeah. Did he go over any of the what he calls the Vale Tudo guard shit with you? It's so good.
Yeah. He's shown some stuff that I'm like I do to people, and they like everybody in our gym does it. Everybody in our gym, and people just get annoyed by it.
Dude, I'll tell you who else has got that, and I haven't trained with this person yet, but they were on the podcast. I've been following him for years. Is Daniel O'Brien. He has that same style of guard, dude, with like like hanging his hips on you all the time.
Interesting.
Like weight. If you haven't fought, like that guy, his coach is one of Hickson's longtime students. And when Hickson was gone, that guy was under John Jock.
I didn't know that.
Johnny Lee Smith. He like writes like curriculum for tons of law enforcement agencies nationally. Wow. But Daniel's a 3rd degree under him, and Daniel O'Brien.
Yeah, I'd like to go train at Kron's place someday. Because I went to Kaio's years ago, and I stayed in the attic of the gym for like a month and a half to train, and I got to train everything. No, it was not nice.
Develop an attic space.
It was really scary because I used to be scared of spiders, like deathly terrified.
Dude, I just got bit by a spider, bro.
Yeah,
first time I know of ever.
That's no bueno. So like I would wake up and there'd be a spider on me every morning, and I'd scream like a girl, and that was my warm up. And then like after like a week and a half, like I just like stopped, like it just didn't bother me anymore. Because I was like, this is life, I guess. Fuck it, me and the spiders can coexist.
Yeah, if you're afraid of something, just dump it all on. If you're afraid of spider, just
shock therapy.
That's shock therapy. Yeah.
Shock therapy is a thing. Dude. I don't recommend it for a lot of things, but shock therapy works.
You got to have a good heart, though.
Yeah. Definitely don't want to do that to like a 50-year-old.
Raiders of the Lost Ark scene, dude, with the snakes.
It just kills you.
Yeah. Snakes, spiders. Like I drove down to my grandpa's creek a while back, and there was like this huge fucking snake on the cattle guard, and I was like, I'll just come back another time.
You should see the snakes that we have in Puerto Rico then.
Oh, man.
You should see the snakes we have back home. We've had snakes like probably as big as this table jump on our car and just have to call somebody or something. It's a very common occurrence.
Dude, you know what's crazy about just like the times is the videos. You can see this shit.
Yeah.
Like it really lets you know. Like we never would have seen some of the wildlife.
Yeah.
I never would have known snakes that big existed. I just hearing tales of them.
Or Snake Island.
Oh, dude, I was just telling somebody about that, right? Isn't that off the coast of Brazil?
Yes, it is. Yes. It's illegal to be there. It's highly illegal to be there.
Somebody lived there, though, for like a while.
That
right?
I didn't know.
Like he was a caretaker of the island or something like that.
Yeah, it's like it even has like snakes that. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this. I heard about Monkey Island.
I'll put it on Monkey Island. Yeah, but Monkey Island, I think you can go. You just have to be careful because of the hepatitis and stuff like that.
Well,
but
I thought you could go to. You just couldn't go on land. You just kind of go around.
Yeah, you can go around it. Yeah,
you can't go on.
No, you can go on, but you can go there. Like at least there, this snake one, like they're saying that there's like species that they don't even know what the hell is there, and it's kind of weird because they're all there. Like all over the place.
I was thinking about that. I wonder how.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
So popular. Maybe there's something within the gene of that.
Maybe there's just a resort.
I think there was some like hillbilly crossbreeding in there because that's what I think. That's how you make weird snakes nobody sees anymore. That's maybe, what happened.
Maybe the snakes just had like some sort of like orbit steal, and they're like, "Hey, homie, come on over here," and they were like, "Yeah, let's." Get over there, fuck it. Let's just go over there.
Yeah, I think it was some inbreeding going on.
That probably too could be.
Yeah,
he's weirded out. He's like, I don't know where to go with this.
It's an interesting concept, though. It's like I was thinking, well, what you're saying, like, maybe it was like a prison, like Australia or something, right?
That too. That's how we
a prison for snakes.
Prison for snakes,
or like, hey, we're just gonna put you on this island. They're gonna eat you, and you're gonna
if you survive a week,
Yeah.
That would be. Could you imagine if they did that with prisoners? Like do like some PUBG style shit.
Like all right, guys. Vikings, Ragnar Lothbrok, dude. That's what happened to him. That's when I stopped watching the show.
Hey man, we're just gonna drop you on this island. If you survive.
Yeah, we're not coming back to get you. We're just saying if you survive, good on you.
Go free.
What do you guys know about volcano sharks?
Volcano shows?
Which volcano sharks?
Volcanic sharks? Yeah, not a fucking thing.
I know.
How is this a
Sharkcano, dude? It's real.
No, it is not.
A shark that can live in a volcano.
That's Sharknado.
Yeah,
okay, so there was this big volcanic eruption in the ocean. Somebody shared a meme, and it looked like a news article, which is hot to do right now, you know?
Yeah. Let me lead you with fake news.
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way there's volcanic sharks. But then I, like, found a dozen articles, and I shared one I deemed credible. And there's a volcanic eruption in the ocean, and tons of sharks were in the eruption site within minutes of the eruption on film, right? So it was like they were monitoring the area for like seismic activity, I guess.
Dude, 2020.
I know, another monster of the week, man.
Not even
First
that.
murder hornet.
2020 is
whatever happened to
like,
murder hornets?
Oh, I don't know. But let me tell you something, dude. 2020 is kind of like what would happen if Post Malone was doing coke and meth at the same time and he wrote a song and the video was directed by Quentin Tarantino. Like, this is what 2020 is like, man. Like, dude, it's been nuts.
It feels like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
It feels like a Tarantino movie, and then it's Post Malone in the background just doing this right here.
I'm hoping there's like
and we have our moments. Like, we got a stimulus check, that would be like DJ Khaled going, spend that money. Like something.
Make it rain.
Make it rain. I respect you. Go buy yourself something nice.
Yeah. Just because I like.
He's sliding like $100 bills. Like, what can I do with this?
Did you watch Posty on JRE the other day?
I'm only an hour and a half.
Me too. I hadn't watched the whole thing.
I haven't watched the whole thing.
Dude, what about that? The David Cho episode, man.
David what?
David Cho. It's one of the best episodes. Like, I didn't even know David Cho had been on like 10 fucking times. This is a dude that was a Vice reporter, right? But he's also an artist, and he like went to school with Zuckerberg, right? Oh, and Zuckerberg had him do some shit for Facebook and paid him in stock, and then that stock became worth like 200 million. This dude has been to like every country, every state.
The guy who was friends with
Anthony Bourdain.
I saw that one. That was rough.
I did not see that one.
That was a rough one.
It's like 4 hours.
A very rough one. Yeah. It's very good, but it's very emotional. And some of the stuff he talks about is like the stuff we were talking in the car about how people don't know how to deal with their emotions and their addictions and stuff. He talks a lot about that a lot. Yeah, I saw that one.
That was one.
I'll have to watch. I haven't seen that one yet.
It's good. It's really good.
Somebody texted me about it, and I was like, man, I'm gonna look into this. And then I didn't realize that he'd been on Joe Rogan several times.
He's been on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. He's been there a couple times.
Joe Rogan got sometimes he gets some really weird guests in there, and then they start talking and you're like, is it me or are they making sense? Because this isn't, because they're talking about aliens and then they're talking about this one guy.
You want to talk about things that don't make sense?
No, really. They're talking about this one guy. I forget what his name is, but he had to prepare a briefing on UFOs for President Bill Clinton at the time.
Oh, I wonder what, I don't know if I've seen that
at the last minute.
I've seen several from
at the last minute, he said they cancel it. So Bill Clinton knows nothing about aliens, according to him.
There's aliens now, so I mean, we've admitted.
I'm just saying, Joe Rogan's got some people on there. He's like,
he has. Let's sidebar that, and let's say all the people that we're referencing he's had on recently. Yes, it's like the Bob Lazar and the guy that directed that documentary on Netflix, and then he came back on the other day, and then there's this Captain Fravor guy, and everything, and then there's Tom DeLonge, which everyone's still talking shit about, and everything that motherfucker said was true.
Yep.
Like that dude. I've been kind of defending him this whole time. It's like, that dude's a fucking genius. Like, everybody's praising Maynard James Keenan because he's in 3 fucking bands. So is that guy. And then on the side, he's like, got this To the Stars project. But it's like everything he said has just been echoed by that lady that came on Joe's. All of these things, like saying all the same thing. And Joe was like, not giving them any shit.
Yeah.
And he was just like, even on the episode the other day with the most recent UFO guy, like they brought up Tom DeLonge, that like they used his videos on one of these releases, and Joe like made some slighting remark. I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't know.
That's all right, man. I know. I've said stuff before, like, one day I went to do like it was like a talk, I guess, and I was talking about like human trafficking, and someone in the crowd comes up, he's like, that only happens in movies. And I kind of like was so taken back, I didn't really know like what to respond to that. And now that people are starting to be aware of it, I kind of just sit back like, it's cool that everybody's getting awareness because it happens a lot, but it's like, a lot of people have known about this for a long time. Like, it's just mad.
This didn't just happen.
This isn't just happening.
If it's people think if it's not true for them, I was just thinking about this today. If it's not true for them, if they've never seen it, then it didn't happen. It's not possible.
Yeah. Well, some people live in a castle of glass, and they just don't leave the confinements of that, and they
prefer the comfort.
Yeah, they prefer the comfort, and it's like, that's why, like, honestly, like I watch scary movies all the time, and like does not bother me at all, like, because it's like some of the stuff you see, like, it's just like brutal.
Man, I had my ex-girlfriend, she liked scary movies. I had to watch The Notebook like several times. That was horrible. Oh man. That's a scary movie.
Dude, what do you want?
All of the good movies, like my wife and I watch, she has no knowledge of. I texted her the other day.
Like what?
Like Good Morning Vietnam.
What?
That's the biggest joke.
See, that's my relationship, because my wife, she was born and raised in the States, and then she's 5 years older than me. So there's like a bunch of movies that I've never seen in English. Like I watched like a year ago, I watched The Matrix in English for the first time. Like the guys at the gym give me so much crap because they're like, you can't talk. Like, you just can't talk. Go watch this movie. I'm like, I got a list of it. Like, I hadn't seen Top Gun until 2 years ago.
Oh, you're lucky. You should have never watched that movie
as a kid, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. My wife, she's 4 years older than me, and she's like seen all these movies.
No, Mrs.
Doubtfire, bro. Have you seen Mrs.
I've seen Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah. No, I joined the Navy, and I watched Top Gun before I joined the Navy, and then after I was in the Navy for a couple of years, it came on TV again, and I was like,
see, I screwed myself.
You motherfucker.
I screwed myself. I didn't, like, I was super anti-military.
Hated that
movie. When I was in Puerto Rico. And then when I joined, everybody was like shell-shocked, because I was like in FBLA and all this other crap.
Oh, really?
And I was like, my high school years were pretty cool, man. Like, they were pretty dope. And then just turned 18 and it went to shit.
That happened. Yeah, that happened to me too. I got it lined out by the time I was like 23, though, like 10 years.
Yeah.
Ago. Like I've been able to, I think, do a fair amount in 10 years. So
I feel like my 20s, I just spent a lot of time working, though. Like,
that's all I did.
Yeah, that's literally all I did, and just gaining skills. Because like after I got out of the Army, I was doing jiu-jitsu, and then I went to do some stuff for Homeland Security as an interpreter. And I worked wiretaps and whatnot for a while, and then I came back.
How many doors has your ability to be an interpreter opened for you? Like, quite
in
a
what
few?
sense?
Like, you're in the military. Are you open to more opportunities there, or like after you've been in the military, they're like, hey, we know you can serve as interpreter. We need to use you here, here, and here. Or
honestly, like it's a combination of things. Like even like when I do comedy, like a lot of the stuff that I tell that I get good laughs are like stories that I just like was able to like recreate. But like I don't think it was like one thing or another, because I've been able to speak English and Spanish since I was like 6, like very, very fluently. And then when I was a teenager is when I got the opportunity to work as a terp. Like, so I understood like, you know, the differences of like the forms of interpreting, you know, how to do translations, like the essence of it. But like the military, like what the military gave me was like a lot of confidence is like the main thing, you know. And even though it was like a false confidence, like it gave me a lot of confidence, because I was like, I've always been like a big nerd, like since I was 5, and I always watched like Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So like, and you know, when I joined the military, like a lot of people aren't into that. So when I left, I think the military did help open that door, but the language is what's opened like doors in the essence of like I can communicate with more people, and I can like, you know, do comedy in another language, and like
oh yeah,
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I just did my first Spanish show yesterday.
Yeah, that's what you're texting me about. Wow. Yeah, I didn't consider. Nice. Yeah, so do you do a totally different routine if you're doing?
Yeah, we were just talking about that because it's very different, like the timing and like the delivery, and like on top of that, like contextually, like there's some things in Spanish that won't be funny if I just translate like some of my jokes, because it just doesn't correlate. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to understand the culture of it. And like that comes with being an interpreter, because you have to understand culture in order for you to understand like, you know, the what the context of a situation is, you know? So that's something that a lot of people don't understand.
Well, and that's real similar to what you're talking about yesterday with somebody coming up and saying that's just in the movies, because I run into that with history all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Like the particular, in conversation with people recently, people will bring up things about like the Civil War that I'm like, yeah, it's not fucking true. Like,
yeah,
right? Yeah, it's not at all. Like, do you have a source for that?
That's how I feel, because like, you know, I started working when I was at Homeland. I worked a lot of drug cases, and then I got, you know, I was able to let me rephrase. I didn't work. I was assisting in them as an interpreter, you know. But then like I was able to like learn a lot of stuff that I really didn't know about. And then when I started my company and I started doing like the cases with CPS and stuff, there was a lot of trafficking cases. And then I also helped out with like, you know, some organizations that I do some help with that, you know, just helping the people out of there. But like, I remember the first time I saw a trafficking victim, like I was like, oh, all right, cool. Like this could have been, you know, this is someone's kid and whatnot. And people are just blind to it. Like there's a lot of signs around us. People are just fucking blind to them.
What are some things going on that you think are common that people just don't know about?
What do you mean? Like signs of trafficking and
signs,
stuff?
How widespread it is in local communities, things to watch for, like, you know, all people see all that I see people sharing right now is like some stats, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, 480,000 people, you know, gone missing, but it's like you could extrapolate the stats out of that data. It's like a vast percentage of these gone missing are not traffic victims. They're these other things. So it's like, what are we dealing with stats wise?
Well, the first thing is like, I wouldn't be able to know. Like, that's just not what I do. And if I gave you a number, I would lie. What I can tell you is that, first of all, people have to understand what trafficking is, okay? Trafficking is when you move a person from one place, from point A to point B, in order to gain some sort of sexual, financial, and or, you know, something out of that person, and you're coercing them against their doing it against their will, or coercing them. Like, that's what people need to understand, okay? Because a lot of people think that certain things are trafficking, and they're not, okay? Like, I've worked legit cases where the person legitimately paid a coyote, which a coyote is a person that brings you from state to state to state. And like they worked for the cartel or for MS-13 and stuff like that. And they ended up in the US, and then I ended up becoming like their interpreter, and I've had to tell their stories. Obviously protect their identity. I can't talk about them, but like one of the things that people don't understand is like it's funded by the cartel mainly. Like this is something that the cartel does. It's a way that they gain money. And, you know, those in power, like I don't know much about the Epstein situation or whatnot, but things like that don't surprise me Because what happens is for example, I can talk about my work is you have someone that wants to leave, let's say, El Salvador, right? You have to cross many places, and they go and they pay, the cartel X amount of money for them to take their kid from one spot to another.
Hey, dude, I'm gonna put this back. I can hear you.
You're like
a motherfucker
breathing in there. You all right,
no big deal.
Your heart all right?
It's just like it's picking it.
I didn't hear that.
That's what it's super good for, right? But I tried to set your gain to ours.
Oh, you good?
I think the gain's up a little high. It's super. It's a hot mic more than anything. So don't worry about it.
I didn't mean to breathe heavy.
No, if I had you on headphones, so that's my bad.
It's the coffee. It's the coffee is what it is. It's the nitro coffee.
But hey, at least you're not a mouth breather, dude.
That's true.
God.
You're breathing beautifully through your nose.
Thank you.
Don't feel self-conscious about it.
Practice that for quite some
people
time,
that breathe through their nose, I'm like, I was admiring it. but yeah, that's you hearing you, and then you hearing other things is like the whole thing. Like you say, I'm just like moving mine around all the time because I move around quite a bit. I'm trying to get one of a different chair here pretty soon.
Those gaming chairs are pretty nice too.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna get the same chair Joe Rogan sits in, the Capisco.
I don't know.
It's like a posture chair. It looks like shaped like the same way in the front and the sides because you can sit 3 different ways in it.
I don't know.
Really? Sit with the back at your back, or you can flip it around and like if you're typing.
Which I would have had one of those.
Oh, that's
pretty
nice.
in the day.
Yeah, I mean these chairs are okay, but like. Dude,
I'm used to these regular 20th century.
Yeah, that's what I'm used to. This is like, I'm used to this.
Those fancy. I mean, man, I gotta. Yeah, as much as I am going to be sitting down, I'm sure this semester too, because we'll be back online, like you guys were saying with theme parks opening back.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, sorry to.
No, you're good.
So you're talking about the cartel, right?
Yeah.
So
they pay someone X amount of money to bring, and normally this is what I've seen a lot is they'll pay to bring their kid over here. So then they get them all the way up to Mexico, and then at Mexico they do a crossing. What a lot of people don't know is that at that crossing, a lot of people die, and a lot of those bodies they just get eaten and whatnot because it's brutal to cross. And then you have entry points that people can go to if they're seeking asylum, which I've had cases like that where they're seeking asylum and, they have
what years
documents.
Were you doing this,
I've done that from 2017 up until like a few months ago. I've had cases. My wife
what a terrible fucking time to be doing that, right?
I mean,
it just seems amplified right now. Maybe that's just in the news.
I just don't I don't see it, and I've seen a lot of bad interpreters do these cases and try to get too involved. I literally go in there, I interpret, and I leave. But it takes a toll on you, especially when there's kids involved. Like I've had cases where I've been the interpreter from the moment they removed them from the home all the way until like it was closed and people got charged and everything. Like you see a lot of that stuff.
Let me ask you this. So I have a good friend that's been on the podcast a couple of times. He's a professor at Tech, and he is working on a book. He goes on the border all the time. He has a boat in Corpus Christi. Anyway, so he's talked on one episode about like the people he had interviewed that didn't even come from South or Central American countries, right? Mm-hmm. What are you seeing any trends or stats? I'm sure you deal with primarily people that are going to be from those areas, right? Because of your language background. But like, what sort of stuff were you seeing? Like a vast number of people are coming from this country, or like anything like that?
El Salvador and Colombia, and then you have a bit of Mexico here and there. But a lot of from El Salvador and Colombia because of the situation.
What for people that don't know what that situation is?
So pretty much what's happening is in Colombia, not even in Colombia, like in a lot of like Central and South Latin American countries, the cartels run rampant. Like Mexico just recently, like a few days ago, they captured one of their high value targets from the cartel, like today, I think, or yesterday. And then if you recall, it was all over the news a few months ago that the cartel was having like a war with the Mexican military. And then at the end, they just couldn't, and they let El Chapo's kid go. Yeah. So like things like that happen because the cartels run it, and they run protection, and they're not centralized. So since they're not like centralized, you could be part of this clique. They call them cliques. Like you could be part of this clique when you're talking about like MS-13 or like La Pana Salvatrucha, right? And And then, you know, that clique is ran by, you know, Jose, you know, and then the clique like 2 miles from the city is ran by another dude, you know, and like they believe in violence and extreme violence. And like they teach the kids at a young age that it's normal to be violent. Like that's just a thing you see a lot, like a ton.
You know, something too, I'm thinking about while you're talking about this, like, is that this has come up with like law enforcement that I've talked with recently.
Yeah.
They receive this trauma from seeing all this stuff, right?
Yeah,
and
they do.
From hearing these stories and talking to these people, like what you were mentioning a moment ago. And then that does really put into perspective in some way, like, okay, and then way further removed from how these people feel are the victims, right?
The problem we have is that we have a society that's not even a society. I don't want to say society. Like our law enforcement is very reactive when it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? And we, you know, law enforcement, this is speaking from, I've worked both sides, you know, law enforcement, we're concentrating on catching the dude. Mm-hmm. You know, the problem is like, it's kind of just like with the whole prostitution thing and whatnot, which I've seen cases like that. You know, there's nothing that now there are a lot of, you know, stuff now that's available because people are starting to become more aware of it, but they don't have any other life skills sometimes. So that's why they resort to like selling themselves and stuff like that. And it's just extremely difficult. Or, you know, they've made some life choices that they're like, well, can't go back from this and, you know, insert whatever reason here. But for us, it's more like there's not a lot of proactive stuff to help them once they get removed from that situation because there's a lot of trauma. It's a shit ton of trauma. So that's just what I've seen a lot.
Yeah, shit. I've developed just through conversations like these a fair amount of empathy as an adult that I did not have like growing up. Yeah. Like we're saying, this is like so many things. That's the benefit I always explain to people of like my education and background is I became more empathetic towards more groups because I know more storylines of the culture of what we've been through.
You get that as an interpreter because I'm basically those people's voices, you know, and I teach a class on human trafficking and stuff like that.
Like at a college, local college?
No, it's just through my company, like to interpreters and whatnot. And like I tell people all the time, like understand, like, you know, this isn't for everybody. Like being an interpreter isn't for everybody because there's a difference between talking Spanish and English and then being able to interpret it. Like you really have to have like an obsession with language and understand that like, you know, contextually language is going to change and you have to understand the culture and keep up with it. And it's like a daily thing, you know, like I read daily on that type of stuff and I have like my own little study that I do and whatnot and the way that I train and whatnot to keep my mind fresh because you have to be able to interpret at a certain speed whenever we're talking about conversations and you have to be able to keep up and whatnot.
Have you ever had to be in a situation where you had to, I read about this a lot in history. They're like, well, and David Cho is talking about this. Like, well, this one guy in the village spoke some French.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were able to like basically interpret through 3 different languages.
Yeah. Right? I've seen situations like that, but like there's one key point there that you hit that like a lot of people don't understand. It's like, oh, he spoke some French. Like I've been to hospitals before with some of the trafficking victims and I've had nurses straight up say, oh, I speak Spanish. We don't need you. And like one thing they have to understand is like, you know, I remain very neutral, but those people that, you know, we've helped, there's some rapport built there, you know. I'll give you an example. I've never told this story. I had one time this person, they ran away from their home, their foster parent home, and I got called to ask, you know, if I knew where she was because I could read the Facebook and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I know where she is. And like a couple hours later, long story short, the cops come to pick me up to interpret for them, like the Springfield PD. And I just showed up and like nobody was saying anything. And all I said was, I'm gonna give you 2 choices. You can make my night very long or you can make it very short. And she just looked at me. She's like, I'll make it short. I'm like, all right, let's go. And like, that was it. I didn't have to say much of anything because she'd never heard me like talk like by myself. It was normally like me repeating other people's words because you just don't talk. Like you go in and like, as soon as the LEP, the LEP walks in or the ELL, you know, whatever you want to call them, or the person that doesn't speak English walks in, I start talking and you have to say every single thing that everybody says around you. So if you're talking about like how you bang your wife the other night and stuff like that, I'm going to interpret that because I just start going. Because you have to, according to the law, you have to interpret everything because you have to make them. Let me rephrase that. The law doesn't say that. What it says is you have to give them the same treatment that you would give an English-speaking person. Mm-hmm. So meaning that I have to repeat everything that is said.
Somebody needs to tell that to Anderson Silva's translator, dude.
Why?
Do you not remember, like, which I don't know, like, I've seen some breakdowns, but he would, Ed Suarez, he's a manager for a bunch of people, but Anderson would talk for like 20 minutes in Portuguese. And then Ed Suarez would be like, Anderson says thank you.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's, you can't do that. So here's a lesson in interpreting. Okay, there's 3 modes of interpreting, right, or translating, however you want to call it, because there's a difference between interpreting and translating. Interpreting is the spoken words. Okay, that's when we're talking like, and there's 2 forms of that. It's going to be continuous and simultaneous. Continuous is when he talks, I talk, you talk, I talk, he talks, right? Simultaneous is when he's talking and I'm talking at the same time. I'm saying the same thing he's saying in the language. And then you have sight translations, which is pretty much when you give me a document and I look at the document and pretty much I have to like on the spot, like start like, you know, telling this person what the document says. And then obviously you have what's called whisper interpreting, which is, you know, it's pretty much when you see that a lot, like, well, you won't see it at the UN and like with the presidential stuff because interpreters are like ninjas. Like that's what a lot of people don't understand. And let me finish that before I rail on. So you have whisper interpreting, which is like what I do a lot in court, where I'll pretty much just sit behind the person and just go as they start talking, like, you know, court is in session, you know, and you just keep going at it. Mm-hmm. And that's probably the best way I like it because I charge by the hour, even if I work 10 minutes. And a lot of times the court is like, okay, we're going to go through the proceedings. And I'm like, I'll tell them like to go at a certain pace. Like, can we slow down how we talk? And then I'll just, and I'll, you know, they'll ask like, do you understand? And people are like, wow, like I understood everything. And they've looked at me before like, who the fuck were we paying before? Like, why were we paying that person?
How many years of experience do you have doing this now?
Oh God. Are we counting like the years in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, just 16.
Yeah,
right?
16.
So,
we were just talking about this too. Right. I started when I was like, so here's the thing. And I wrote this into a joke, but I've never told it. So the reality of is the way that I started as an interpreter, and a lot of my buddies who see this are going to laugh, was since I spoke English like from a very young age, because my dad was always hammering like, you need to learn English. You need to learn English. I would charge my homies to do their homework in English, and then they would pay me. And that's how I started, right? But then, you know, through FBLA, I was competing at improvised oratory, and I was also assigned to go to Disney for FBLA as an interpreter. And I got to go to Disney World and stay at the Swan and Dolphin for that. So like, I've been doing this stuff since I was 16. Nice. You know, in the military, I did it a little bit because we would have people that were Spanish speakers only. In Korea, we had some incidents where we apprehended some people like that. And then pretty much like, you know, up until 3 years ago is when I started my business, the Language Ninja Solutions.
So now you're basically just a consultant for anybody that needs your services, like
pretty much.
Anybody?
Like I've moved away from doing interpreting and translating. Like I have people that I pay to do that, and what I'm starting to concentrate on is teaching, because that's what Edgar Hidalgo, one of the guys that I told you about, he owns Trans Interpreting. Edgar's like, you need to just start teaching. Like with the experience that you have, like no one's gonna pay like what they want for the interpreter because they just don't care, you know. So like, that's what I've been moving towards, and like more of a consulting place, just so I can like, you know, have more time to do comedy and spend time with my family, and I can do everything from home too. Is the beautiful thing, you know.
How old are you now?
33.
Oh, dude, same age as me. And
yeah.
Jesus Christ and Alexander the Great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just.
Hopefully, we don't die this year.
Well,
it's a weird year.
You might be reincarnated. I don't know.
You never know, man. You never know.
Yeah,
I just know I prescribe to all religions. That way, when I get to the pearly gates and Buddha's there, I'd be like, I knew it. I knew it.
My dad said something crazy.
Played the game.
It was like one dimensional, and I was like, you know, he was talking about like these 2 people in the Bible that didn't die.
Yeah,
they got whisked up into heaven, and I was like, well, if we surveyed all world religions, Dad, it'd be more people than that, okay? And he's just
my God,
whatever, right, whatever. I was just like, dude, all right.
Yep, that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah,
talking to my dad. My dad did Did 30 years as a cop in Puerto Rico.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow. How different's law enforcement there?
Extremely different. Puerto Rico. Okay.
Yeah, I used to live in Puerto Rico. So
yeah,
you did too.
Yeah,
he was when he was in the Navy. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned. Did you mention that a second ago?
I think
he was in the Navy.
You did mention you were in the Navy. I just didn't know you'd also.
We know each other through comedy. Like we've become pretty close.
Are you a comedian too, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we do a lot of shows together and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, same. Where do you guys usually around?
It just depends, man. Like we used to go to the Blue Room Comedy up in Springfield, Missouri. Yeah. But it's
club in St. Louis.
Yeah, then there's a club in St. Louis too. And then I have my own show. I have a cigar show that I host like once a month. And then the shirt.
I should put it on.
You should put it on. You absolutely should put it on.
Cigars, coffee, dude. I have such a coffee addiction. It's quite ridiculous.
That's why I did that shirt because it was like I was like sitting there and like thinking of like some of the jokes that I wrote down, and that was one of the jokes. I was like taking a shit on vegans and stuff like that. Not even vegans, like people who talk about like, oh, you need to eat more plants. And I was like, yeah, I drink coffee and I snort coffee and I smoke cigars. Like that's a salad, right? Like that's got to count for something, I guess. And yeah, some people did not like that. But no, man, it's very different. It's like very, very different because, the laws in Puerto Rico are different. Number one, the laws are different. There's just a lot of differences. I don't think I'm the person to talk to about that because it's just something that I didn't do for a long time. But there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in Puerto Rico. A lot of corruption. A lot of corruption that happens too in Puerto Rico.
When I was there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're racist now, but when I was there, they literally told us at the briefing that this part of Puerto Rico, if the sun's down, don't go there.
He was there in the 90s though, when there was a lot of corruption, like to the point that we were just talking about this.
Yeah.
There was a big drug lord that had everybody in his pocket, and then they just cleaned house in the 90s. And we Puerto Rican people, I don't think that we're racist. You know what I'm saying? Because you have Puerto Rican people that are white, that are yellow, that are brown, that are purple.
I just know
but there was some issues. There was some issues with the military. There's always been issues with the military. Like a lot of people who join the military from the island, like a lot of people don't like you. Some people, they just don't care nowadays. But there's a lot of people that don't agree with.
Yeah, we didn't stop at stoplights either after 10 o'clock.
Yeah, driving in Puerto Rico is nuts.
Have you been to Brazil before? No,
I haven't. Yeah. I have not.
I've been there.
You have been?
Rio.
Oh yeah. See, everybody I know has. I've never been. And I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever go.
Oh man, they call it the mafia down there. Yeah. But they run Brazil.
Like multiple UFC fighters, but it's been robbed on the street by like organized crime.
That's fucking nuts.
When I was
it just won't end.
When I was there, it was politicians I'm assuming getting paid by the mafia because the mafia did what the hell they went to down there.
Yeah.
It's nuts to me. It's nuts.
If I'm going to go to another country, it just, I don't know, probably won't be that. I could bring tons. Dude, there's this. I get that there's an incredible jiu-jitsu down there, and I'm jiu-jitsu black belt, and I want to train incredible jiu-jitsu people. But there's Hickson's here in the United States. There's so Caltera, who you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
there's so much good jiu-jitsu here, and I can get almost anybody from Brazil to come live with me if I want. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing that blows my mind is the amount of people that are leaving and just coming over here, and then you don't hear about them.
Though. Brazil's
beautiful. I would love. I would love to go. I would love to go.
The camps when these people go.
But my name will probably help me. So God though. So yeah.
Yeah, but they have that huge. Whenever you see in the movies, they'll show that big picture of
the favela
of Jesus Christ.
Oh, I forgot the name of that.
Rio.
Yeah, that's in Rio. I forget the name of that place. I thought you were talking about the favelas and stuff like that.
Oh, well, they that too. But no,
we have something kind of like
show in the movies. They said, "Hey, we're in Brazil." They show that
they hiked up there.
Yeah, we kind of have something in Puerto Rico, kind of like favelas. They're called caseríos.
Oh,
it's like a lot of criminal activity, a lot of drug activity. You know, not necessarily. I have a best friend who lived in a caserio, and he used to see drug deals happen all the time, and he'd be like, "Yeah, that's not my problem, not my prerogative," and he just keep walking. Nobody fucks with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, the narrative on what cops should be doing is so broad right now. Like, that's something that I mean, I've had several conversations about the guy I was telling you about earlier that teaches here. But I think the biggest thing is like, and I was talking to him about this yesterday morning, is like, we pay and subsidize for people not trained in martial arts to train cops in martial arts once a year. Yeah. And that's something that, rarely any physical fitness requirements. Like, that's insane.
It isn't.
Meanwhile, in the military police, like, at least when I was in, like, you had to, like, have extensive training. Like, back when I was in, like, you know, the company that I was in, like, we had like a Thursday or something like that where we would just do combatives, and you just get your ass kicked, and just understand, like, hey, you're probably going to get in fights. Like, this is what we do, you know? But
most of the military has some sort of physical.
Yeah. Well, we also train a lot, but we also train a lot, which is one of the issues that, like, a lot of people have with, like, cops is, like, they don't get trained enough, or they don't get continuous education like that. You know, as an interpreter, I have to have continuous education. Like, I have to prove it.
Also, myself, as a historian, and like even as a martial artist, like there's never stopped doing private lessons. Have never stopped training. Like,
it never stops.
It's like where they're like they militarize the police. I was like, no, they haven't.
Not yet. If they would have militarized the police, I get what they're saying with that. They're talking about, like, the way that they conduct business, but, like, I think if they militarized the police, there would be countless hours of training and training and training and training and training and training, and just
they might look like it when they're in the riot gear, but
you would lose your mind. You know how many times, like, oh God, don't get me started.
Yeah, that's
a whole different story. That's just the amount of training that you do in the military. Sometimes, like, it hurts my brain.
You can do stuff in your sleep. I know he does stuff in his sleep. I do stuff in my sleep.
Yeah, like, it's just the amount of training that you do, just like with shooting. Like, when I went through SRT, it was like, this is going to be an 80-hour course. It's 2 weeks. Fuck you. That was not 80 hours when I went through SWAT school, like what they call like the Army version of SWAT school. Like, we were in the range to the point that my finger hurts. That finger bends to the side because of that. Like, we spent countless hours shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and then you have to requal and all this other stuff, and it's just like, and you know, I can't imagine, like, guys who are operators like Alan Shabaro. Like, you know, Shabaro's told me some stuff that he's like, it's like spent months shooting like that. I'm like, Jesus, can you imagine that budget? Like, my God.
Yeah.
But it's just,
I didn't
like,
go through the intense training he did.
Yeah, he was in the Navy. He kind of, like, had, like, the floaties and, like, the little rubber ducky.
That's the Coast Guard.
That is the Coast Guard. That is.
You guys got David Goggins on.
That's
the
true.
What?
And Jocko.
That's true. That's true.
They got some heroes over there.
Yeah.
Dude, are you serious? You not know what the Army has? Don't even start.
I mean, Goggins did fail Ranger School twice.
Don't even start me here, bro. How many Medal of Honor recipients do you guys have? I'll wait. Talk to me about the Army. What the fuck ever.
Carry your boats.
Yeah, go be the Marine Corps' Uber. That's exactly what you guys are.
The inner what would be the word?
The inner, like, I don't know. We talk shit to each other too on stage. Like, when we do when I'll do a joke. Like, I wrote a joke about the Navy one day, and he's like, "You motherfucker!" Like, that's good. And it's my closer now. Like, it's pretty much like I always close out. I say, like, you know, motivation is a big thing, and I'll be like, you know, in the Army, like all the armed forces, they have like a battle cry, I guess it's called.
Yeah.
Like, you know, motivation is like, oh, that's what the Army says. Marine Corps say, hoorah, because they want to sound like devil dogs. And then the Navy just says, just a tip in the butt. Like, that's a joke that I wrote. And I said it one day.
It's still the Coast Guard.
It's still, and I said Navy, and everybody laughed. And then I get off stage, he's like, you motherfucker. It said the same thing. It's the Coast Guard. I'm like, it's the Navy in that joke.
That Ashton Kutcher movie made Coast Guarding seem very difficult.
Those guys are
Kevin
tough,
Costner
though.
died in the end.
Those guys are tough, though.
Those are called SAR swimmers, search and
those search dudes. Like I wouldn't fuck with those dudes.
Anyone.
What was that movie called?
The Guardian. The Guardian. It's about the search rescue teams.
Anybody goes through search and rescue,
you're fucking crazy.
Search and rescue because you got to run and swim.
Yeah. By the way, it has to be while there's a fucking tornado or the water's going nuts.
Yeah, this is not calm water.
And you have to willingly jump into it, okay? From a fucking perfectly fine helicopter. Like, let's think about all the things. This is why I say, like, someone asked me, what's the craziest thing you've done for money? I'm like, I went to war with another country for $43,000, 15 months.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, that's how much I made in 15 months. Like 43 something.
That's like my teacher's salary.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So I was crazy. Like, that's the craziest thing I've done. Like, think about it. These guys, first of all, they tell you, like, okay, you really want to do this? Like, you're going to be the last line of hope between people. And sometimes you're going to have to pick who lives and dies. Yeah. Sometimes both people might die. Sometimes you might die. Yeah, I want to do that. Okay, sign right here. And then you go through the training, which the training is not simple.
No.
You know, like it is not simple at all. And then it's like, okay, you have to learn all this. Do you still want to do it? Yeah, I still want to do this. Yeah, that sounds cool. And then you have to go fucking do it and gain experience. It's like you got to jump in and save the person. Like, it's nuts to me. Like, the rescue swimmer guys are nuts. And I know the Navy has some too, I think.
Oh, we train the class, actually.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's just nuts to me. Like,
most of the training for the armed forces, they go through the Navy.
Navy's better, okay? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying.
Awkward stuff.
We train a lot of people.
This motherfucker. This motherfucker.
He's mad because it's true.
So hey, sidebar. How did you get into comedy? Right? Like when and how and why? Like tell us the whole.
So I started in comedy 2 years ago. That's what I did, and I don't consider myself that good. It's just for like 6 months I just like read a bunch of books about how to write jokes and stuff like that, and then I would go to the Blue Room and I would just watch people, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. It's kind of like what an interpreter does. Like an interpreter has to, you have to like say exactly what the person is saying, and like you're emulating. So I was like trying to emulate people, and like it wasn't until like a couple of weeks ago, I think we were talking about this a few days ago, that I was like, I think I found like what makes me like funny is like, what makes me funny is like, or what makes people laugh when I say it is like real life experiences, and those are the best jokes. Cause I record all my sets, and then like during the Corona thing, since we couldn't do comedy, I started just looking at them, and it took me like 3 days to go through everything for 2 years. And I was like, man, I noticed that the thing that I see the most is like when it's something about like it's personal that feels real, like people just die laughing.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just like what I do now is just I write about stuff like that. Like I write a lot about my wife. Like I actually have a skit that he remembers this day. I said that it was the first time everybody saw my wife, and they were like, oh yeah, Richard's well taken care of at home. My wife is extremely hot, like way hotter than he thought that she was like in her 20s. Yeah, my wife is way hotter than with any person that I should be with, and she's older than me, but she looks like she's in her 20s. So she's like, yeah, like the epiphany of like people see my wife and they're like, oh, you got a young, beautiful wife. I'm like, how old do you think my wife is? It's like 28. And my wife just eats it up. Like, she's just that's my wife's wife. 28.
Yeah, damn, she does look young. Is she your hot unicorn? A text came through right as you shut up.
Oh my God, she's gonna watch this and she's gonna be like, "Are you serious?"
Oh, dude.
Oh
sorry.
God, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No, I always say I found my unicorn because we got married a few months ago. We were friends for a very long time, and like I had ended a relationship that it didn't end very, very good. But it turned out to be like the best thing that could happen for that person and for me.
That's good.
Yeah, man. And then me and her were talking for a long time. We were really good friends. And then like one day, we were just like talking. We were like, oh yeah, I think we should give it a try. And we did, and it's the best fucking decision I ever made. My dad likes her. So does my mom. And my family, it's really hard for them to like anybody.
Yeah.
Like,
how long you guys been together now?
Dating like a year and a half.
Okay.
Year and a half. Cool. Married, we got married February 3rd.
Oh wow.
Nice. Yeah, see, my mom's different. She always likes the crazy ones. So
yeah,
as soon as she likes one, that's like, I got to dump her quick.
Yep.
My mom was like, she's like, whoever you bring home. I like them. Like I was just family, like, all right, Mom, this is
my family loves.
As soon as you like
wife.
somebody, it's like there's crazy in there. I know there's. I just haven't seen it yet. And then, sure enough,
well, she's also good with my kid though. Like my wife is really good with my kid because it's a baby mama situation, and my kid loves my wife.
That's great.
Like they're awesome together. They're fucking awesome together. So it's not easy, but anywho, I started comedy because I always wanted to like do it because I've always like, even as a kid, like I was kind of like a prankster and stuff like that. Like I used to mess with people a lot, and like people always gave me shit. I just have one of those faces people give me shit. Like if you come to the gym, it's like a group of hecklers just talking shit to me. And that's why like whenever I get heckled on stage, like I just have like a witty comeback, and I just like, people go, holy shit. It's like all that rage pent up from the gym and the cigar shop. Just
all of the comedians that I've listened to have talked about getting heckled. Like, what's that like?
What's it like? Imagine that you're teaching. No. I got it right here. Imagine, okay, this is the best way that I can explain someone heckling you to a jiu-jitsu person. All right, you ready for this? Imagine you're teaching a basic armbar from guard, right? And the day one white belt says, well, that's not how I saw it on YouTube. Actually, the guy put his other foot. And see, I see you twitching already. Like, I know who this motherfucker is. That's exactly what it feels like. Because I'm up there working. You know what I'm saying? And like, why, if you don't think it's funny, just shut the fuck up and just go away. If you don't understand a joke, or you think the joke like didn't make sense to you, come talk to us. Like, I guarantee you there's been times I didn't get a joke and everybody laughed, and I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what's the point of it? You know?
Have you had sets like, I'll do a follow-up question on this, but have you had sets where you like bombed pretty bad?
Okay, I don't call it bombing. I call them TED Talks. Okay, or monologues. I like to call them personalized monologues. We don't call them bombing. That's very hurtful. And we need to be PC. Okay.
Have hecklers shown up to your TED Talks?
Whenever it's that bad, nobody says anything.
So I'll tell you a story. And me and McElroy always tell the story. So I wrote a joke about the Boy Scouts a while back, and I'm not going to tell the joke here.
Good.
Because what happened was the joke, I said it, and I don't know if you remember the first time you got put to sleep by getting choked, right? Like a rear naked choke. Mm-hmm. And you come up like, like, right, that sound, that's exactly what, like, the sound that came out of the crowd when I said the last punch in, like, and I was like, oh, I need to go. I need to get the fuck off stage.
Good night.
So I just like, oh, good night. And I walked out, and like, everybody was looking at me. I looked at McElroy, and he's like, yeah, I would get the fuck out of here. It was so bad. I was like, no, I'm keeping that joke. And then I said the joke next week, and it killed. Yeah. Killed. Said it that night twice. Said the same joke in 2 different shows. Did great. Did freaking great. I was like, okay.
I think you said the first time was new. I don't think you had said it.
It was right. Because the first time that I had said it, that Friday before I had said that joke, the Boy Scouts had filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I had not done my due research about the status of the Boy Scouts before I wrote that joke.
That's a good thing too, though, to like write things within as they are relevant.
You have to.
Yeah,
you have to. Like, you have to. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's always like,
you can't do that with everything because it'll backfire.
Yeah, there's some things that like the joke writes itself, man.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, someone getting someone else pregnant after they had a vasectomy, use a condom, use a Plan B pill. Like, the person got pregnant. Like, you know what, buddy? That was just meant to happen. Like, the joke just writes itself. You know, like, you don't. You know, the world works in mysterious ways, I guess. You know, but there's certain things like that the joke just writes itself. Yeah. Like, you don't really have to do much. I have moments like that. Oh. Like, I have moments like that with my wife where I was talking, like, the other day, she's going to kill me for this. So the other day we were talking about, like, you know, changing furniture around, right? And I like the color brown. I love it. I have like brown furniture in my house. And she goes, you know,
doesn't matter what you like.
Brown just doesn't look well with this color. And I was like, oh, here it comes. I go, really? Why not? She's like, it just makes it look nasty. Like, I'm like, well, what do you think about the color black? And she goes, it's slimming. It's got some girth to it. You know, it would make the room. And this happened legit. And I go, what about yellow? And she looks at me and she goes, I see what you're fucking doing. So I wrote a joke about that. Yeah. I definitely wrote that. Oh, dude. Like, I see what you're doing.
You see, like, you look around here, like, this is all my shit from home. I had a studio at home, right? Like, but like now I'm motherfucking moved out of my house.
Nah,
my wife was like, she's taking over. I had 2 rooms. I had all my music shit in one room.
See, I don't. My wife has like the garage because she does like these pour paintings and stuff like that. But I have the living room with an Xbox, and like all I need is I'm very minimalist. Like I'm very simple.
I gotta get my N64 in here, dude. We could be playing GoldenEye right now.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Simple stuff like that, but. We keep it like very minimal at my house, man. Like we try. We're organizing still, but
that's. I mean, we're about to redo our kitchen, but like,
don't talk to me about that.
I just did a refi in my house too. I'm super pumped about.
Don't talk to me about that. I gotta redo my kitchen. I'm trying to see if I can add a bathroom.
Correct. Well, we didn't add a bathroom. We remodeled entirely bath. So we've been doing kind of like one room at a time. Replaced all our floors. We bought our house and it appraised at like. We did a bunch of stuff and it appraised like $20,000 higher than when we bought it. So
nice.
The refi we were able to do. We weren't even doing the kitchen stuff on the refi. We just slashed that interest rate in half, dude. Slashed the term in half.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Dropped our mortgage insurance and the payment is the same. But I'm paying it off twice fast. All the shit. It's
perfect. I dropped a full point of refinance just because the interest rate was so low. I was like, I dropped a full point. I was like,
dude, everything. This is the best time right now.
I know, like when we moved here, which is pre-COVID though.
Yeah.
But just with what I was able to do, for whatever reason, it took forever to get the financing done, like 8 months. Right?
Really?
Because it's through SBA. But like we qualified for a killer program. They paid our mortgage for 6 months because of the pandemic. Like, right, I haven't even officially paid a mortgage payment.
Wow. Boy,
right?
You bought
That's pretty good.
Yes, but they...
I wish I could get something like that.
There's no balloon. Like my last 2 finance on the previous locations there's a balloon, right? So it's like in 5 years, you might get whatever interest rate when you.
I don't know, man. Owning a martial arts gym is so like, I just would never want to like own a gym. I'd love to teach, and I'm getting, I'm starting to like stuff, but it's like, but like you have to deal with like I don't know, man.
There is some bullshit.
I like what Jack does.
Yes.
I like what Jack does. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I don't teach kids. That's another big thing about it, right? I just teach adults.
I thought kids would be easier to teach.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Shut the fuck up,
I was
McElroy.
talking about to my guitar teacher about teaching like beginner kids guitar, and he's like, "Oh, I don't care." And I was thinking while he said that, I was like, "Dude, I didn't even like showing an adult who's been playing for 6 months new shit. It was frustrating to me.
Yeah,
on guitar,
teaching kids jujitsu is very
jujitsu. My wife handles all the kids programs, and we have fitness and yoga, fitness kickboxing.
You have to have like a personality, like you really do. Like I worked super well with kids, but like teaching kids jujitsu, like. And the thing is,
like they would. I just seems like they would take to it pretty easy.
They would, like kids. they do, but the problem is that you always have the kid that's like not motivated, right? Or he can tell you more. I'm just,
okay. So this is another one we're dealing with a couple right now. Like, you ever been to like a kid's baseball game and then like, there's that dad in the stands?
I get you.
We got a couple of those dads, right? Like, so that's that too. It's like
I didn't think about.
And little Johnny, man, he plays every fucking sport, right? And also, I wanted to be an MMA fighter right now, and we're just like, but little Johnny's 12. He can't fight till he's 16, and he's like, "What? There's no way my kid could get brain damage before he's 16." And I'm just like. I mean, he'll get some brain damage in here. We'll punch him in the face for you.
Yeah, he will.
It's but you like you're saying, like you can't communicate in those
It's
terms.
almost as bad as when you go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, right? Don't you tap! Yeah. Don't you tap!
Oh my
What's
God.
the matter, ref?
Why are you telling them that?
Why are you telling them that, ref? That's 2 points. He reversed the side control, ref. God.
Oh, man. That's why I never reffed a match.
That. The parents always make it worse.
Oh, dude.
Parents. Some of the kids that and this is from what I've seen, because I'm very observational with this stuff. It's just like, you don't know if the kid's having a bad day at home, how's home life, how's school life. Like, there's just so many things. Like, there's just so many things that I just like, I'm like, have fun.
Because it was hard teaching 18-year-olds, but
yeah, teaching kids, like being a leader in the Army or in the military.
My college classes are like so we graduate half a dozen high school students with associates every semester, right?
Oh, nice.
At my college, right?
Nice.
So that means I have like 10th graders through people that are like 70 years old. Like I had a 70-year-old lady that had to drop out of my classes because she had cancer recently. Right?
Oh my goodness.
So it's like, but it's like that, but that's like everything in between. More high school students. You got people all throughout their 20s, new moms and shit. And then you have like people going back that are in their 30s and 40s that their kids are more like high school. It's like the fucking diverse.
Yeah.
And most of them, and way more women there than anything, right?
It's nuts to me, man. That's why I just like I like comedy. I like interpreting. You know, I like jujitsu. Like all those three things. That's like what I love doing. Like if money wasn't an issue, like I would probably still keep doing that. I'd probably try to do a little more comedy. Like that's just about it.
Yeah, I feel that.
So you're about the same distance in on your comedic career as I am on podcasting, right? I'm about 3 years in, but like really, oh man, honestly, since like this year is the first full year that I've like caught my wind. I'm getting more views, like this, like like as soon as I started podcasting, I was like, I need something like this.
Yeah,
and then it came together. You know,
the problem with me was that I had to take like some time off because I had a neck injury. I had cervical stenosis.
Happened?
I had cervical stenosis.
What is that? I have neck problems. Tell me all about
cervical
it right now.
Cervical stenosis is pretty much like Google MD it. I'm sorry. It's pretty much a compression of your cervical spine where it just connects and it's not supposed to do that, and it's extremely painful, and all you feel like the whole time is just pain around like your hands and stuff like that, and you don't have like full movement rotation of it.
Oh, what how do you sort that out?
Stem cells.
Fuck yeah, like injections or what?
Injection.
How much do you pay for that, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll tell you later.
A few thousand?
I'll tell you later. We'll talk later.
Okay,
but that's how I got my neck.
My dad's had stem cells before.
I'm gonna get my shoulders done next because and then I'm gonna get my right knee. This is what I'm gonna get done.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting my shoulder done because it's killing me.
Because I have rheumatoid arthritis too is the problem.
Dude, I've wondered for a few weeks now if this shoulder, if I don't have like a bone spur, dude. Like sometimes when I'm pushing out like that, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Or
shoulder
like
problems are super common.
And it'll catch, but it's not rotator cuff related.
Oh, mine's rotator. Yeah.
Right? Like I'm probably have fucked up rotator cuff.
Yeah.
But like none of the tests I do where it's like internal, external rotations, am I like, oh, it's always something weird. Like I move like that, or I reached out to grab something yesterday that was falling. Like I was like putting my guitar down and it like tipped sideways. I was like, oh!
I would say just Google it. Just Google your symptoms and see how long you have to live.
It's not actually a bone.
Well, a torn labrum.
I got no idea.
Symptomatic. Too.
I'm horrible with medical terminology. Like I can recite it, but I don't understand.
Because it could be just a small tear, and it only
could be a frozen shoulder. Could be a million things.
It could be, there's a million things.
Yeah, there's a million things.
You see a chiropractor or anything?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I see actually a guy that's a neck specialist. But have you seen some of those procedures like that? There's a guy in Texas that does it, but it's different. Hey, ding, ding, ding.
I've seen those.
Have you had that done?
On my neck.
Some people do hammer and chisel.
Yeah, on my neck I did when I was trying to get recovery. I saw a chiropractor a lot.
So this
you
guy,
can't call yourself a doctor and have a hammer and chisel. It's like a
you're
blunt, a sculptor after
like a blunt object, basically.
A blunt object,
yeah.
Dude, there's like different theories on chiropractors, and dude, let me tell you, like I use one. It's
you notice the difference.
I noticed the difference. No, not anymore. Okay, well then it's not anymore. I just I'm gonna do anything to keep me in the game. Like,
yeah, me too,
I feel.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm glad we'll have to talk more about stem cells. Let's take a break. I gotta take a piss real quick.
Yeah, no, we can take a break.
You guys, are we gonna go eat tacos after this?
We can do whatever.
Tacos.
We can do whatever. I'm down to take a break and just come back.
Yeah. Let's just take a piss and we'll come back and bullshit some more. And before we get out, we'll definitely have to. There's plenty of places to eat, but there's a.
We'll come back and finish out.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Cool. Let's take a break. I'll put this shirt on.
Whoop. There you go.
Like to get some cigars for here in the studio. We're having a craft. We're having a craft beer podcast here before long. So
you should have told me. We could have brought you some very nice cigars because I smoke a lot.
Yeah. You got your palate developed.
Yeah, you got to develop your palate. That's the thing that.
Well, there's one.
The what?
I forget what you call it. It was $2 cigar, but it was
La Fuente.
The La Fuente.
Yeah,
and it wasn't real expensive. It was like $2 a cigar.
Cigars
but it was good. It was really good.
Cigars are a gateway, bro. Like to meeting very powerful and very important people.
Yeah, it's all like golf.
Yeah, it's kind of like golf, bro. That's like my golf is the cigar shop.
A good friend of mine in Memphis, which he's hosted Jack like 3 or 4 times. One time, I think when Brian came down and got Jack from here, like Jack had also taught in Memphis, right? So he usually like makes the rounds, but he'll go and do business shit at the cigar shop, like what you're talking about, and just get on the Wi-Fi.
That's what I do.
Chief of Stogie, and
that's what I do. I'll work out of the cigar shop.
You write your routines and shit while you're there, like.
So here's
from there.
Here's the secret. Here's the secret. Like what I do is I'll write something, right? Let's say I'll write a joke, right? And I'll just like wait for like the perfect time to throw it in at the cigar shop, and then that's how I work my routines. Like a lot of times I'll hear a story at the cigar shop and I'll write like a premise of something, and then I'll go from there, and then I'll just like say something. Like I had a story that came out of the cigar shop that is quite hilarious. We call it the Ray Ray story. So we have this gentleman that he went to Nicaragua, I think it was, or El Salvador, somewhere, I can't remember. And I was his interpreter. So he would like call me while he was down there for me to interpret. And like, I love this dude as a close friend of mine. And I go, hey, man, I'll do it for free. He goes, yeah, man, thanks. And his wife used me and everything. And then the first time he calls me, he goes, hey, I need you to tell this MP over here that I like his gun. And I was like, okay. So I say, it's like, oh yeah. It's like, ask him if I can see. And I hear, I'm like, oh dear God, this is it. This is where I'm gonna have to go do some taking shit. Like, God damn it. And then like, excuse my French. And then like after that, like that night he calls me and he's had some drinks and he says, hey, I need you to order me a taxi. I'm gonna go get a tattoo downtown. I'm like, okay. And they're like, oh, there's no taxis. Like, what direction is the tattoo shop? That way. Walk that way for a mile. It's like, all right, I'll call you in a bit. And then he calls me from the tattoo shop and he got the tattoos. He actually got the tattoos while I was interpreting. Like that, yeah. Stuff like that happens as an interpreter. My very first like business paid check was a guy in the US that I interpreted conversations as he was hitting on this woman on Tinder. That was my very first paid gig. I made $347 with 58 cents.
Let me ask you this: like, maybe you can give some insight here. Like, do you see like mail order brides as like a form of trafficking?
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
Like when I hear of like somebody like I know a guy who got a mail order bride, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Just don't order them from IKEA because you have to assemble them yourself.
You heard about the IKEA stuff, right? That's
Wayfair.
Yeah. Wayfair. I'm sorry, Wayfair. Sorry, IKEA. My bad. Yeah. Wayfair, cheap furniture. Anyways,
pillows and cabinets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's crazy, man.
They're named after missing children.
Man, and like this is like the thing that like.
What do you think about all that?
What do you mean?
Like you think that's legit?
I don't know, but I
think it's a smoke screen.
You have to understand something, man. Like if you ask me, like, what do I think? Like, I think that if that's happening, that's fucking horrible. And if you do that, you're a piece of shit of human being, But like at the same time, like, is it real? Man, I've seen some stuff.
Could it happen?
I could see that happening. Absolutely. Anything is almost possible. You know what I'm saying? We live in a world right now that like almost anything is possible. Not a lot of things really surprise me. Mm-hmm. I've seen drug dealers that got busted because they were cheating on their wives. Seen drug dealers that there was a wiretap and there was some stuff going on and we knew that and we exploited that. And then they got flipped, bro. They got flipped because their wife knew that they were cheating. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing really surprises me anymore. Like it's very, and I don't mean that in a cocky way, but it's like, it doesn't surprise me. Like, but some of the stuff I've seen, like, I've seen kids being pulled out of a barrel in the back of the truck. And I was there when they did it and I was the interpreter. And the kid just wanted water, Like I've seen females where they were kind of like movie style. They were in like a basement, and all they had was like a tiny bed, and they were just there, and they were pregnant, and they didn't know they were 5 months pregnant. You know, man, like I've seen shit like that it's like, you know, people ask me why I'm always laughing and I'm so silly and stuff like that. It's because the world's a really fucked up place. Like it's super fucked up. And a lot of people know it. The thing is, they don't do anything. That's why I did like what I did. You know, I did work that stuff for a long time, and I would love to go back to it. It's just right now, you know, business is business, you know, and like some organizations, like they want to try to run things their way. And it's like, no, like I'm an interpreter first and foremost. Like I am not, you know, here to give advice. Like that's the beauty of being an interpreter. You're not there to give any advice or anything. You're there to whatever the fuck is said, you're there to say. Mm-hmm. That is it. You don't have a fucking opinion about anything. You keep your damn mouth shut. That's it. It's not hard. It's not a hard job. And there's interpreters everywhere. Trump has an interpreter. You know, I'm sure every single president has had an interpreter. Mm-hmm. People of Congress have an interpreter. You just don't see them.
We're seeing so much more sign language interpretations.
You do. But the thing is, you see interpreters of other languages being utilized all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, you and like the thing is, it's a profession that's not really respected. Like I'm $100 an hour. Like for interpretation, $100 an hour. For translations, $50 a page. Okay. I'm certified through CTP, Certified Translators Program, which has a passing ratio of less than 27%. Okay. Most people take the exam 2 to 3 times. I pass it on my second try. Like I won't deny that. And you know, I still have a security clearance. And then on top of that, you know, I also have my military, my DOD credentials as an interpreter. Mm-hmm. And it's just the experience that I have is what people don't understand. Because, you know, I study a lot. Like right now for the past month, I've been studying El Salvadorian slang. I've been studying depositions, which we were talking about, something that happened in a class that I taught. Depositions, because there were some depositions that I've seen that I had like issues with, like small words that were like, oh, how the fuck did I not know that word, you know? And that'll happen too. Someone who knows more than one language, they'll be like, oh, how do you say that word in English? Like that happens a lot. And you have to understand, like what you're doing when you're interpreting, your brain is doing various things, right? I'm listening, I'm processing what you're saying, then I'm translating it into another language, and then I'm repeating it.
That's insane.
And it's in a matter of seconds that you have to do it, you know, and you have to be able to catch up to so long. So that's why I
forget. I mean, or it's like your loop is just like you've got it.
What do you mean?
Like, let's say you're going and like you're like, fuck, what did they just say? Like,
no,
does that ever happen?
Stop. The interpreter needs to make a clarification.
Okay.
¿Qué fue lo que usted dijo? What did you just say? You know, oh, no. Okay, say the interpreter has made a clarification. The interpreter forgot to say this. That's it. Or if you say a word that's wrong and then you caught yourself, you know, if you're in court, there's formal ways to do it. Like I normally say, the interpreter needs to make a clarification. The interpreter had made a mistake when he had translated so-and-so word meaning this. The word actually means this. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of times people will go, because you can't talk to me. Like I don't exist. You don't say, interpreter, what did they say? Like, no, I talk as if I was that person. Like, oh, you know, and then he did this. Y pues él hizo esto. Not like, oh, she said she did this. Like when I see that on TV, it drives me off the wall. Like me and my wife, we watch 90 Day Fiance. You know how you and your wife, I don't know if you guys do this, you have like that show that you watch together.
Yeah, for sure. Binge the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Me and my wife, that's her show that I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll watch. And I see them use interpreters or like the electronic translators. They never work. They never
Google
work.
Translate never works.
They never work.
You can get, I mean, Facebook Translate, I would say, throws up some things where it's like, okay, I get the idea of the paragraph, sort of.
You get the gist of it.
Yeah, like I see what you're saying there. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Like,
and like, do you want to risk? Like, it's like I tell people all the time. Like, they're like, oh, well, we'll hire, you know, so and so's kid. I'm like, all right, man. Maybe just hire an interpreter to like assess that person. If you want to hire that person, hire a professional interpreter. And I tell this to people all the time. No one's ever taken me up on it. Like, hey, hire a professional interpreter that teaches other classes, that has X amount of Z years of experience. Have them assess that person. Are there skills there? Do they need? Because if you're going to keep that person, maybe the company can pay for them to, do the continuous education, because it's always constant. Like, dude, I'll be watching a movie and I'll pause it. Like, how the fuck do you say that word in Spanish? And I'm like sitting over here, like trying to Google it. And like, cause I use Google because it's like this word. And then I'll go to the Royal Academy stuff. And that's where I go. Like, that's the dictionary that everybody should use, the Royal Spanish Academy. And like, I do that all the time, but I also love my job a lot.
But yeah, if people that know two different languages, sometimes they'll speak to you, like my neighbor speaks Spanish and English, but sometimes I'll go over there and she's talking nothing but Spanish. And she doesn't realize it.
That happens to me when I'm drunk. Like, if I'm drunk, that happened to me one time. I was
okay, hola. And it was,
¿Cómo estás? Hey, papi. Richard, what did you just call my mother? Like, nah, man.
And I just shake my head like this. And after a while, they're like, why didn't you tell me I was speaking Spanish? I was like, I thought you knew. I mean, you were right there.
There's this girl comes in the gym. She's fought MMA several times, about to get her purple belt, but there's this local El Salvadorian place here called Panes.
Panes.
Panes. And
that can mean many things.
Yeah. When I asked her, I said, what does this mean? And she goes, it means bomb.
It means what?
Pan, bread.
Yeah.
Like that's it. But she's like, it means pan. And like, she said it like that, like real aggressively. She's like, you idiot. Like, it means pan, like, or pan, bread, or whatever, however you say it. And I was like, what? And she was like, bread. It means bread. And I was like, oh,
interesting.
But now I still joke with her about it because she like fired off the answer to the question in like just another version.
It means that. How do you not know this? It's common knowledge.
Yeah, I was just like.
That was like the names that I see that like a lot of like Hispanic places put, like cielito lindo means beautiful sky or cute sky. Like if American people were to do that, people would be like, I'm not going to like the blue lizard. Like, that kind of sounds like some sort of form of LSD. Like, why would you name something the blue lizard? Like, that's kind of like what we do, with restaurant names. Everyone was like, oh my God, El Sombrero. That sounds so exotic. Like, it means the hat.
Yeah.
Like, it means the hat.
It literally means hat.
It literally means hat. Yeah. Sombrero. Like, it's a form of a hat. Yeah, that's what it means.
Like the Three Amigos wore.
It sounds so exotic.
You think that's bad? You should do it in like if you go to Spain or France.
Oh my God.
Because you go to France and
don't get me started.
They'll try and get, and you'll see different words that may be French words, but they also spell something in English.
Yeah.
And we went to this bar, which was named after a part of the female anatomy. I don't know what that means in French. It may be spelled the same way, but it started with a
Google.
P. It
Google
started
probably
with a
has
P.
the answer.
And then it said bar after it. And I was like, we should get a beer there. It turns out it wasn't that type of bar. It just had the name.
All right, then.
So whenever you go overseas, you see different, but you'll see that all the time whenever you go overseas.
We had a place in Korea called Hooker Hill and Homo Hill. That's what it was called on Itaewon. And anybody who served in the military knows what those places are, and they know what they're notorious for.
But sometimes they spell stuff in English and not realize it means what it means in English.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some words you can't translate, like names you don't normally translate. Name of businesses, like I wouldn't translate your Unraveled podcast into something, in Spanish it'd be El Podcast, Unraveled Life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Life Unraveled.
Yeah, like I hear that a lot in translations, actually. You'll go to say like a name and they just
say because you can't change it. You're not supposed to, at least. Like a good interpreter should know that. That's
you can't change the name of Toyota.
Yeah.
If you're
you might say it in a different accent, like Toyota, because you're saying it with the intonation, or in Portuguese, it's Toyota, but you're not gonna.
But you know what the word is.
You know what the word is. Yeah. It's still English, Yeah. And that's an issue some interpreters have. They can't tell the difference in accents because they get so caught up trying to listen. I'm like, just listen to the words. Don't listen to the accent, listen to the words. And it's kind of like meditating. You have to like really understand that. You listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure it's great for your brain.
God, no.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, think about this. Like, you've been keeping up with my book reading and listening endeavors, right? Like, think about people that most people I know, they graduate high school and like their intellectual development might stop.
Oh yeah,
entirely, right? Like they might
Yep.
never read another book. They might not read any more short stories. They might not become a comedian or a martial artist or anything. So, sorry about that. It's turned off. But that they may never, get into anything. So it's like this is slow death of their mind.
yeah.
Right. But it's like if we do things like one of my boxers over here, he teaches a couple of classes. He's got these number poster boards he's been having the class do like Omachenko does. Right?
Yeah.
Like where you've got to select these number patterns in a row and see how many of them you can do without messing up.
Helps with coordination.
Yeah.
Helps with coordination for striking.
Yeah.
But like I've read different studies about like, hey, if you count while you exercise. Right. Like my thing is I'm wondering a lot about like, so for me, my retention rate, if I'm like going to do a bike ride or I'm on the elliptical or I'm lifting and I'm listening, like my retention rates go up for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I'm in the zone.
It's because it activates that part of your brain. There's a lot of stuff that they don't teach kids. Like,
I got audibles whenever I got a treadmill. And I listen to the audibles.
that's what I do.
Me too. Yeah,
that's what I do. I work from home, so I clean the house. I'm the housewife at the house, so I listen to a lot of podcasts. My wife always likes to say I turn a hoe into a housewife, and I'm like,
stay at home dad.
yeah, sure.
You have dogs?
We'll call it that.
You have dogs?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Just
You gotta
stay
take
at
care of
home.
them.
Yeah,
Mr. Mom,
it's just-
whatever.
There's a lot of estrogen in my house, not a lot of testosterone. It's just slowly but surely, man.
Yeah.
She's gonna watch it and she's gonna be like, "The fuck did you say?" It's like nothing.
Nothing. That's why I smoke cigars. I'm trying to kill myself.
Dude, it is crazy too, like how many people don't know. I feel like, maybe do you inhale the cigar into your lungs?
No, you
Me
don't.
either.
No,
Me either, right?
no.
But like I run into people that are like mixed up on that for some reason.
The problem with a
Same
lot
with
of
the pipe.
people,
You don't, when you're smoking a pipe, you don't inhale the pipe. I mean, you can, you probably only do it once.
yeah. The problem with a lot of people is that they have this misperception of like cigars. Cigar is a very relaxing time. It's kind of like, I compare it to like going to jiu-jitsu. Like it's very relaxing for me to go to jiu-jitsu. Like it's a mindset. And you do the same thing in a cigar shop. And you have people from all sorts of life. Just like in jiu-jitsu, just like in comedy. You go to the cigar shop, you might be talking to a millionaire and you don't know it. You might be talking to the chief of police and you don't know it. You might be talking to someone who, co-owns like this big company that you don't know about and he's being super nice to you and you just don't know it. Like that happens at the cigar shop a lot. Like, hey, you know who the fuck you were just talking to? Like, no, that's Representative so-and-so. Like, oh, cool. Didn't know. Like,
I thought his name was Bob.
Yeah, I thought that was Bob. He said my name's Bob. Like, all right, like I'm Rico. That's Rico right there.
I didn't know he was Representative.
Yeah, Representative Bob. He said something with an R.
Yeah.
Like, I guess. You just don't know. This is just the beauty of the cigar shop. And there's a tranquility to it. Like, my wife knows that if she can't get a hold of me, call a cigar shop. I'm probably there.
It's almost like if you get, when people sat out and they'll on the front porch and they'll whittle or they'll have a glass of tea.
Yep.
They're just taking in the day.
Yeah, just taking in the day, man. There's nothing better than a good,
just
smooth cigar.
You're just appreciating what happened or what's going to happen. And you're just there. And you're not really.
Just there in the moment. You're very and people are very honest, like at the shop, like people are super honest. And you have a good, in Springfield, we go to Just For Him, which is a little Easter egg I put in there, 1334, the cup of coffee. That's like the building number for Just For Him. It was a little Easter egg we did. And like, we go there at Just For Him and I just go there to chill, man. I just go there to chill. You learn some life lessons, especially someone like me that my family's not nearby. You make a lot of friends like that, because it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Man, we hit on this before we took a break a second ago. But one thing I wanted to ask you about is, I've had just one other comedian on the podcast before.
You got two now.
Before you guys, right?
Damn.
But one thing I'm interested
Probably more successful than us.
how I don't know, he's from Arkansas. Right?
Well, yeah.
We got our own struggles.
He may not be more successful.
Well, they him and like 5 Arkansas comedians or something.
There you go.
Moved to LA and they live in LA now.
Yeah, no, that dude's done better than us.
Yeah, well, I mean, he is. But
Although Joe Rogan is moving out of LA, so that should tell you something.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that
dude,
out
how's
there.
he going to get weed?
Oh, he's already.
We have been. That dude literally. I was like, he's close to the cartel.
Oh my god,
He's gonna get it from the source, son.
He already figured out a way to do it before you decide to sell
I
it.
said this the other day. I was like, bro's gonna get weird. Bro, he's got the cartel. He's got Joey D because I think Joey D is moving too.
Yeah, Joey did.
Yeah, I think Joey
moving to Texas.
I think so. I think he said it.
I think that you can.
He probably
some sort of weird law about cultivating. Right.
Listen, man. If Joe Rogan needs it,
there's a way to do it.
Listen,
Joe Rogan's
bro.
already figured it out.
Nah, let me tell you something. Joe Rogan's probably going to be coming back and forth from Mexico a lot. So if Joe Rogan needs an interpreter to go to Mexico,
Joe Rogan, if you happen to be listening to this,
if you happen to be listening, Mr. Rogan, by all means, call my line. Go Language Into Solutions. I will absolutely go interpret for you free of charge, sir.
Dude, that is. Are they doing Austin? Has anybody heard where they're going?
No idea. I have a friend down there.
I anticipate.
I heard it was Austin because
yeah, it's Austin. It's Austin.
It is
going to be
it's Austin.
because
Yeah.
Tesla is moving to Austin.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's moving the whole plant to
Yep.
Austin. He finally just said, "Screw you."
So the
California.
comedy scene in Texas is gonna blow up soon, son.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be nuts.
Hey, somebody else moved there too before Joe.
The Onic guy.
The Onic guy.
The Onic guy. He
Aubrey-
moved there.
Aubrey Marcus.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
then,
He was in How I Met Your Mother and like a bunch of other stuff that I
He
seen.
just stepped down as CEO of Onnit. Aubrey
Why?
Marcus, they replaced. They got another guy. He's doing some other shit. I don't know. Maybe just taking ayahuasca.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny dude.
Yeah, but yeah, they. I wonder. I'm and two. You know, Spotify video. What the fuck's that
Yeah.
gonna be like? I haven't seen one video on Spotify yet.
Well, I don't know if they're still hammering out the deal, but I do know if they sign the deal in Texas,
13 million.
he'll save. He'll
Ching.
save. What was it? You
Over
calculated?
13 million.
He'll
My wife
save
did.
13
My wife
million
did.
Because
if
of
he signs a
tax, state
contract
taxes.
in
Texas,
California.
son.
The taxes are so high. You'd
Taxation,
have to
bro.
pay an extra 17 million if you stayed in California.
Dude, we're
With
in this
Spotify.
like we had to redo a bunch of stuff this year after the move because we're in like this weird spot where we generate a lot of income every year, and we have overhead, but a lot of payroll. But man, we've had to start redoing a lot of things because our taxes are fucking high. It's insane. It's like we're like
You're
right
in
before the
Arkansas-
part
you're
where
in Arkansas.
where they go down, right? And so we're just like we gotta.
All I'm hearing is it gives me more reasons to stay in Missouri or move to Texas, which I won't. I'll stay in Missouri. I will die in Missouri. Like, just, I love it. I don't.
Texas doesn't have an income tax either.
No, they don't.
Florida doesn't have one tax. I forget what it is.
Neither did Puerto Rico at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
If it was 99 cents, it was 99 cents, bro.
Payroll
There was no
taxes
sales tax.
are
It was
freaking
great.
ridiculous.
I don't know about that. I have contractors.
Yeah. Well, we did
That's-
too for a long time,
yeah.
but now we're to the point where, like, scale wise, we have to have a couple people on payroll because we were paying so much.
Yeah.
Either contract wise or like floating them cash and shit sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, well.
Like, the last thing we need is someone. IRS? Like, all right then.
Yeah. For real.
Happens to a lot of people.
Arkansas is pretty. I don't think they're bad on taxes.
I have no
if you
idea.
compare to some of the other places in the United States, you're probably got relatively easy.
Yeah. It's, yeah,
I don't know.
It's not terrible, honestly. It's mismanaged.
It probably
That's
is.
probably,
just like
and
every
it's
single one
on a
every
local
state.
level. It's
Yeah.
atrociously
Oh yeah,
mismanaged.
I
So,
have no
but
doubt.
You guys legalized,
marijuana.
yeah, I
went to
believe you
dispensary
guys.
today.
Yeah, see, I was, yeah, I know. I know
Was
you
it
guys.
recreational or
medicinal.
No, it's medicinal.
But
Everything's medicinal.
okay?
We tried to pass recreational. It's supposed to be again on the 2020 ballot. I've heard something how it may or may not be, but it's supposed to be on the ballot. And here in this town, which we're a really big town. For,
Yeah, because you guys
for
have
Arkansas.
like dry. What's it called? The
dry counties.
Dry
yeah, yeah.
counties.
We're in a dry county, but it's really more of a moist county. Making me moist.
It's more moist than dry.
Yeah, but like we could go, like if we go to the Mexican restaurant across the road, like we will be able to have a beer if we want or
Yeah.
margarita. No, like
That's dope.
yeah,
I'm always down to have a, I don't know, not a margarita, probably like some sort of drink. I don't know,
Yeah.
something nice. I like my whiskey. I like my
Probably
scotch.
can't get that here in the county. Hard
liquors.
hard
No,
liquor,
but
probably
like,
not.
dude, it's a trap because you got to drive 20 minutes
Yeah,
up 40, and it's like why are you making these people drive 20 minutes instead of where they could get a convenience store?
Yeah, it's
it
like one
comes
of
into
those-
politics of like, well, these rich, powerful families that have these stores over here don't want to lose out on people because
the county loses out or the city
people in
loses out on
Conway,
revenue.
next biggest city from us, and people in Russellville have to pretty much use them for vending.
Yeah, so you're controlling the
It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
See, that's what Missouri did. They were trying to raise the cigarette tax because they said it'd keep people from smoking. I was like, that is not going to keep people from smoking.
Last time I
Doesn't
checked,
matter
I still
how
smoke
much
cigars because they did the same thing to
cost.
cigars. I still buy cigars.
Same taxes.
Do you realize that we have the lowest cigarette tax? We get
Yeah, we
so
do.
many people from Illinois, Kentucky, from here that buys Missouri cigarettes just because of the taxes.
Yep.
That's
people
how
that
much money
drive.
they
Yep.
Dude, Missouri's the first place I saw beer for sale at Walmart.
Really?
Yeah.
They always
Dios
next
mío.
door. It wasn't fucking happening in Arkansas, and I don't know if it. No, I guess I've seen it.
I can't really do that face because I remember like the first time when I moved to the States, I was like 1 a.m. and I told my buddy, I was like, man, I'm really hungry. He's like, Taco Bell's open. I'm like, the fuck you mean Taco Bell's open? And he's like, yeah. And we just drove and I was like, oh my God, US is awesome. And I was just like, it's like the weirdest thing. Yeah, it's not like that. We don't have a lot of things that are, we definitely do not
what's
have
crazy
about 9
is
o'clock.
how many places are closed on Sunday around here.
Really?
Yeah, dude, like yesterday, Corey and I were like, oh, let's go here. Closed. Oh, what about there? Closed. Well, what about there?
Because of
Closed.
COVID or?
No, just because of Jesus.
It's because of
sweet
Jesus.
baby Jesus.
It's because of sweet baby Jesus. We can't open on Sunday.
Yeah, the same reason you can't have scotch. Like, it's just, I mean,
Can we bring it? Like, if we come another time, can we bring scotch and cigars? Like, and no one
We're
would
going
say
to break
anything?
like federal law if we bring.
I mean, are we going to? I mean,
Scotch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just
that's
crazy.
We
like-
recorded it in Springfield, Missouri. We know it looks the same, but it's
well, I don't
recorded in
even.
Springfield,
I don't
Missouri.
even agree with the whole thing about like. So are we just forcing everybody's church day to be on Sunday? Is this it?
What about the 7-day Adventist?
Yeah, exactly, dude. And it's here's the thing.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. It's
Here
not
we go.
It's not
Here
just
we
them.
fucking go. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Church is on Saturday, damn it.
fuck.
Or it switches every year.
Oh God.
I'm on one of those schools of thought.
Oh God.
Well, yeah, it's synagogue same way. I think they worship on Sunday.
I don't attend church though, so I'm really good.
Well, see, it made.
What about the
sometimes
Muslims?
it made sense when you worship.
We have
when you made it just made sense to sometimes worship on Saturday because it said Sunday's supposed to day off. Well, you're making the preacher work on Sunday.
That's a great point. Yeah, like
why are you making the preacher
Doesn't
work
the
on
Bible say
Sunday?
something against that,
The
if I'm not
preacher
mistaken?
has got to sin on Sunday to save your soul. That sucks.
You know what? You ungrateful.
That's a lot of
fuck.
S's.
Such an ungrateful fuck. I look at my whole career and be like, you are all ungrateful fucks. May God be with you. Mini Patre Filii Spiritus Sancte. Amen.
Well, for Buddha's sake.
For Buddha's sake.
I used to.
This is how we write jokes. Like, this is literally like we just talk shit for like hours and then we go to our homes and we're like, yeah, that was,
I gotta write this
that
shit
was, that was a really good pointer.
Response. I
That
laughed
was-
at my own joke there. Well, dude, so get into what some of your processes are for writing jokes. That's what I was meaning to ask twice.
Oh
now.
God,
Oh.
no
Like
one
what-
cares
there's
about
a lot.
that.
Like, what do you? How do you get in the zone? Like, what do
Here's
you
the
do?
thing, man. Here's the thing: is like no one really is gonna care about that because I'm like the most unknown person in comedy. But what I can say is,
Well, next to me.
you know, what I can say for me, it's like if I don't write jokes. Like I don't sit there and like not even a routine. Like I write a premise. Like I'll give you an example. Let me pull up my notes. I'll
really-
get an idea, right? And I'll be like, okay, I have, you know, a premise, right? Because I at least sit down for an hour a day to write down premises. So like, let's say, you know, I'm at home and this happened the other day. I was at home trying to write jokes. You know, I put my little meditation music or whatever and I sit down and like polish up stuff, try to memorize it. And then I was looking at my dog and I was just like, he was licking himself. I'm like, yeah, you can lick yourself, but it doesn't work. Mine does. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got a vasectomy. Never mind. It doesn't work. And I wrote a premise saying, talking shit to your dog because you live in an all woman house. I was like, that's a premise. So now we just go on from there, you know? And then you always have to like, you know, like think about like,
But that's
you
not
know-
unusual coming up with just the premise before the joke. 'Cause-
no, it's not from
Sometimes
my
the joke will
understanding.
just
That's what
happen.
Ian told me. Ian's like,
Yeah.
that's not uncommon.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Yeah. But
It's like
that's how I do it.
I was working on one with him because I was wondering about grapefruit.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Yeah, the grapefruit thing. But you just
it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, or sometimes you'll just like something that happened to you. You know, like that story that I told you about my buddy getting a tattoo. I tell that story way differently.
Yeah.
I tell that story way differently. I say that he went to Puerto Rico and got arrested for solicitation and cocaine. And then when he went in front of the judge, he said, "Hey man, can you tell the judge that, I love this country. I'll never do it again." I said, "Yeah, put me on speaker." And I look at the judge over the FaceTime and I go, "A él le gusta comer culo." And then the judge goes, and he hangs up. And then 2 days later he comes back and he says, "Hey man, thanks for getting me out. But like, what did you tell the judge?" I said, "I told him that you love his country and you'll do anything to get out." He's like, "Oh, because he like fucked me in the ass. And I don't know why it hurts, man." Like, so I look normally at the crowd, and like I always tell that joke, always gets a laugh. Yeah. That joke is like a centerpiece for like everything that I do. Like I love that joke.
That's why you fucked my ass.
Yeah,
I get it.
That's why you fucked me in the ass. I told him you love your country.
Yeah, you had to put two and two together. That makes sense now.
And I always get people in the crowd, like one of the shows I did with him, like someone in the crowd was like, "That's not how you say I love you." I'm like, and that's the premise of the joke. Don't you fuck this up for everybody else, ma'am. And I just looked at her. I'm like, you and me were in the know. Don't you fuck it up for everybody else who didn't pull up Google Translate on their fucking phone. Like, because people do that too. I hate when people do that on their phone and stuff like that.
It's worse when they do.
You're trying to fact check me.
Yeah. I think I told you this one before, but I did a Hitler joke. No, not a pro-Hitler joke, just to be clear. And they complained that I did a hit after I was done with my set. They had to find me and complain about the Hitler joke.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I want to hear. That you don't want to hear about Hitler jokes, or you don't want to hear about things happening to the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I got a Boy Scout one.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude. So I got a joke premise. I'm probably never going to be a stand-up comedian.
I'm listening.
No, but this is
go on.
It's a super funny engagement. Maybe one of you guys can stand. Pea hands.
Pea hands.
Yeah. How many times have you shook another dude's hand and it was wet and they're like, "Bro, I just washed my hands." Bro, that interaction has happened to me like 100 fucking times in my life. I'm like, "What's up, dude?" And they're like, their hands are wet. They're like, "Hey, dude, I just was in the bathroom washing my hands. It's not pee."
That's so bad.
Like, it's not pee.
It depends if I know the person, because if I shake his hand and his wet, I know it's not because he washed his hands.
God damn it, Eric. Fucking
Richard.
When I was a kid, it would be like, "Teach me how to pee." Like you do that. Like I remember one of my friends did that to the side of my face.
Is this what people do in the United States, bro? Like,
pee hands.
Fuck, bro. This is not how we conduct business back home, homie. Not how we conduct business.
No, it's just weird that people think you shouldn't wash your hands after you.
I wash it before and after. I wash it before and after.
Well, that's what cycles.
I want that to be clean. My hands are dirty, bro. You know the amount of things I touch?
Yeah.
I want King Charles to be in his best damn...
For real, dude. If you were being real, you would you've been going about your whole day.
How crazy do you want to get with this? Dirty. Like, we can go down the fucking rabbit hole with this, you know? Are you gonna brush your teeth before you kiss somebody every time? You know what I'm saying? Like before you kiss your wife? "Honey, give me a second." You know? You gonna wear rubber gloves with that shit too? You know? Dude, what kills me is the amount of people that into. Yeah, man. There's
a rubber glove.
There's something for everybody, man. I guess
you're gonna be able to, I'm sure, get some great mask wearing commentary out of all this, right? Like Jesus fuck.
Man. It's like I don't like to make like jokes of like a lot of like the new stuff. Like there's certain things I won't write jokes about. It's because that's just like I just don't want to write it, but I can find it funny. Like I've heard people say like, stuff about Epstein, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's funny. I wouldn't do it, but like, yeah, that can be funny. It's just given the right context and given like the delivery and stuff like that. Some people they hear something and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so horrible. How could he say that?" Yeah. 'Cause he's testing the waters. He's throwing a net out there to see like what happens. Yeah. Like that's all it is.
There's a lot of mask and COVID jokes out there.
Yeah, there's so many. Everybody's going to do it. There's so many. It's kind of like presidential jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's going to have
stereotypes.
Everybody's going to have one, and these are just things that I notice. Like for me, it's like I talk about like me. Like I have a really, really long name. you know, Ricardo Abdel Aviles. And Abdel is a Middle Eastern name. And Aviles sounds like they were cousins. You know what I'm saying? And then my first name is Ricardo. So every time I go through TSA, I'm reminded of this. Because guess who gets selected for a random search, right?
Dude, that happened to me coming and going my last flight. They were frisking my bun. They're like...
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, I'm reminded. It's
That's
funny
why
because
he joined Homeland Security, because like, we got to keep an eye on him. We keep him close.
yeah. That's how they know, bro.
That's how they know.
Like, what are you expecting to find? Tacos, bombs, or like cocaine in my bags? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It always gets on my last nerve when I always get selected.
I expect to find tacos.
Yeah. I'm glad they never search my pockets, though.
Yeah. That's a burrito.
Dude, okay, so I forget the name of this band, but I'm gonna tell you guys a joke here, or it's a funny story, right? I went to see Widespread Panic at this. We were in Vegas.
Oh shit!
Right,
Never been.
and we'd like been awake like all night.
Oh my
right?
God!
And we were going to leave, and me and my buddy smoked a dude. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's recreational.
Vegas,
It's
recreational.
We were there
Vegas.
the week that it became or I was there. I think this was a couple years after though. But yeah, it was recreational. And then I go to the airport and I have this roach in my pocket for some reason, dude. And I'm like going through TSA and shit. And I'm like, I realize it. Like when I go to, and I'm like, but then like we were at my house the other day listening to this song. I forget by who. I saved it and screenshotted it. But it's this dude telling a story about like going to the show all night, and, like getting to the airport and having a joint in his pocket on the song. And then he's like, it's the song is this incredible fucking story. And I was like, dude, damn it. I'm glad that's like, I'm not the only person that's happened to. Dude, this dude wrote a fucking song about it.
Well, see, that's how I feel.
I hope he wasn't following me. That's what I'd be worried.
That'd be weird.
Was he
that dude was behind you late for a comedy show and he saw you go, oh shit, saw the tip of the joint and he's like, I got my next 5 minutes.
I got my next
5 minutes, bro.
Like
I got
the number of things I was like, am I going to eat this? Like, what am I going to fuck? Because I mean, dude,
do you have anything to declare?
You get pulled over with something that's like the thing that I've always heard people say, bro. You pour your weed in the cup and you drink it, right? Or you eat the joint you're smoking, right? Like something like that is like. But dude, now they have such sophisticated shit. They're like, sir, let me use this wipe to wipe your windshield. Oh, it's green. You're coming with me.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
that is true for
because
sure. They had developed a wipe that can
how accurate residue. Like has it passed like all this FDA stuff?
That's what local law enforcement told me. They have a THC residue wipe.
I'll let you know next week because I'm meeting with the PD. I'm meeting with the PD for a class. We're doing we're talking about this. We're doing a class for drugs for interpreters. Yeah,
because it's controversial because in some states it's like, well. I guess me, it's maybe never legal to smoke inside of your car.
Well, for me, it's more like
because I'm just saying if you do it, they can't tell you when they could have been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't establish time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like
they can't pull you out and say
you can't. That's what I'm saying. So there's just so many things that like you know. I mean, the thing with this whole weed thing is there's like I read a while back that they had pushed something to take it out of like the Schedule I listing, and to me, man, in my opinion, I'm not a stocks guy, but like. You know, connect the dots. If they do that, like, wouldn't the weed stocks and all that stuff go really high if they did that? If it was removed from SCAT Schedule 1?
Think about the lobby, like I know within our state, to keep recreational out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would. It's just I just don't understand it. Like, I see
the money will win out. That's what
the money will win out. Yeah, that's just the sad truth of it. Like, a lot of times it's just how much money you're gonna pay people. You know, some people's values are like that. Like you can buy them, and that's scary to me. No, whether it's Colorado. A good way or bad, like that's scary to me.
We've had that.
We were talking about that. Yeah. Like it's just a matter of time before they look at the numbers and they go, "Oh, Colorado did this, and their school system did this with the taxes." Like, we're losing we're losing money here. You know what I'm saying? And like it's like, but I feel like there should be like a more scientific conversation. Not even scientific, man. Like just like. Because I use CBD because I have rheumatoid, right? And he's seen my hands the other day. I take a bunch of CBD.
I put
well, dude, look at this. This one's been broken. Like my buddy Landon Crowder, he's broken this twice. That's why it turns that way. He's just like snapped it in the middle of rolling, and I'm just like, oh! Like
you use a lot of hook grips on the gi?
Yeah, I do. But now I'm starting to like, JW showed me this trick that if you curl, if you curl like that, you're using these muscles instead of these muscles. And I didn't know that. He's like, yeah, Hoyler shows that. If you came to a Hoyler seminar, you would know. And he showed me that years ago. And now it's like, oh yeah, like I get it.
One of the greatest guys I ever trained with.
That's why you need to do jujitsu, bro. He doesn't do jujitsu yet.
No, dude.
So you need to do because there's little things like how to get, like if someone grabs my wrist, right? The most basic thing, right? How do you get out of this?
Yeah.
How do you get out of it?
Twist your.
Right? How do you get out there? You know what I'm saying? Like if I can't twist it, just go through the thumb.
That's like why you got to do the Danaher, man. You got to cover that loose spot.
Yeah,
bro.
That's what I'm saying. DVD. That's why you got to do jiu-jitsu because like little things like that. Like I learned how to use
because I learned stuff like just from actual
you fucking
practice.
Dare say YouTube.
No, not YouTube. It's like when I get a bar and I get in a fight and if something works, I remember it.
Yeah, that's but you're talking about, we're talking, dude, most people that train jujitsu, like we don't want to fight. Like, and you're a black belt, you know, when I got my purple belt, I cried like a bitch, first of all.
Dude, purple belt was super for me.
And it was like, I was like, oh, cool. Like I kind of sort of know something, I guess. And then like, I just like looked at people, like people would say like, my wife's brother, he's always like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. My wife was like, he will choke you. He will choke you sideways and then show you how he choked you. And I'm just like, imagine like a black belt. Do you really think that the black belt wants to get into a fight? No, no one does. Like, it's just because he's just gonna kill you. He's going to murder you.
Dude, one of my life's goals now is to take my hair down and choke somebody with it while I'm rolling. I've choked somebody with hand wraps. I've choked them with a belt. I choked somebody with a belt a couple weeks ago.
We do all subs.
We do.
I've seen the belt. I've seen the belt before.
Yeah.
We don't. We try like to avoid the heel, especially because a lot of guys don't know. But we have pretty cool guys. Like I could probably, and I don't know how many people can say this, but I could probably like go really hard with anybody in the gym and no one would hurt me.
That's
like won't.
And that's a good culture.
Yeah, no one would hurt me because we've had times I've been put out before because we were just training really hard. But if we have an arm lock, like no one like over rips it. You know, like you'll hold it. You know, like sometimes if you can't get out, you tighten a little. But I've gone hard with guys and no one would hurt anybody in the gym. Like that's one thing I sleep at peace. My wife was like, "What if you get hurt?" Like if I get hurt, it's because I'm being stupid. Like if I didn't tap to that foot lock, it's because I'm being dumb. Like this just happens sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great culture. That's why I keep telling you, you got to do jiu-jitsu.
All right.
You just got to try it. You just got to try it.
I just, because I was in the Navy, we that stereotype that sailors drink a lot.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true.
What about former sailors?
Most of my fight training happened in
former
bars.
sailor and a comedian. Jesus, there's a joke there.
So, yeah, but that's how most of my fighting style came about, was because nobody wants to be in an open. They usually try and corny if somebody's trying to fight you in a bar or something like that.
Just go do jiu-jitsu.
So I just learned to fight which way it works. And somebody told me I fight dirty, and I was like, I fight to win. I'm not worried about it.
Go do jiu-jitsu.
Dirty or clean.
I just want you to leave me alone. And if I have to run away, I'll run away. But if you touch me, that's different. And even Brian, like our black belt's really like, hey man, like don't be going out there to like pick fights and stuff like that. Like Brian's had that conversation with everybody because I would not want to piss off my professor.
No, dude. And it's like, I would never, like I was out with a group, like a wedding party, and there was this big fight that with somebody in our groups instigated. Oh. And I was just like,
how was that upcoming Monday that he come to train?
No, well, it was like, he's sort of.
Didn't work out well.
Well, I mean, I still talk to the guy. Like but it was just like, dude, that is just so against the principles of what you're talking about.
Right? No, Brian's really big on that stuff. Like
I don't even like putting I like having a good time, dude. Yeah.
Everybody does. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I love going and having like drinks with some buddies or whatever. But man, it's just like when I'm with untrained people.
Yeah.
And I'm like in two instances where this has happened, not this instance necessarily, but I'll be like the only person in the group that knows how to fight. And then somebody from my group picks a fight with somebody, like this happened down in Little Rock.
Yeah. And then they always rely on you.
I'm like, motherfucker, like I'm like, you are in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not about to defend this party for your fucking ass. Like, It's put you in a
We've had
weird
situations like that where like we had a situation like that without saying any names where two of the guys argued, and like I told the guy who was in the wrong, I told him like, you need to leave, you know, at the comedy club, and you know, he left and everything, and then the other guy was trying to pick a fight with me, and I'm just like, dude, like I'm not trying to do anything. Like there was someone there that trains with me, was like, hey man, like I wouldn't do that. I get talk to him, something happened, you know, he left me alone, but like I just rather like, and it comes with the gym culture too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some gyms that they're pretty like hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? And you're always gonna have like one of those two guys that like, you know, they're just like, oh, just want to go hard all the time. You know what I'm saying? But those guys have their place too. Yeah. And those guys normally calm down. You know, after a few rounds getting messed up, they calm down, dude. You know, so that's why that's why I just won't leave Springfield, man. Like my family asks me all the time, why don't you move to Texas? I was like, nope, I love Springfield too much. Like I just. Springfield has like really like Springfield reminds me of home, man. Yeah. This is why I love Springfield, Missouri. It reminds me of what like home could be, because everybody's so nice, dude. And I've lived in different countries. You know, I lived in Boston for a while, and it's like, yeah, that's. And Springfield just will forever hold like a dear spot in my heart. And like,
I never
you know,
thought about that, but Springfield is kind of like Puerto Rico in a way.
It is. The people, like the culture of it, like it's very like, it feels like homey to me. You know what I'm saying? And like when I go to Texas, like I don't know if this happens to you, but like to me, because I've traveled so much, like I go somewhere and it's like I just don't feel like I belong. You know, like that's why I was hesitant yesterday to come and do the podcast, because I don't talk about like myself a lot.
I don't either, dude. Yeah. It's always weird.
But it's always hard because you were like, oh my God, like, and I've turned down like a few because they want me to talk about the stuff we talked about today. And my wife is like, nah, go. You should go. And I was like, well, I'll go. I was trying to find an excuse to like say no. That's why I took a minute to answer you. And then like a couple of people messaged me and they're like, hey, no, like I'd love to see it with Brian. And I was like, yeah, I'll go. But like I felt comfortable, you know, like I think that's something that like they don't really tell people, like, hey man, if you feel comfortable, like that's a good sign. You know what I'm saying? Like listen to your gut. And like, that's how I feel about Springfield. It's exactly how I feel. You know, my wife's lived there. My wife is like, has the biggest family in town.
How many colleges are in that town? Like 1,000.
Not quite that many.
I don't know. Not quite that many.
There's a bunch, right?
But it is a college town though, is the thing. If you look at the demographic.
There's a couple Christian colleges.
Bible college. It's a Bible college.
There's Bible college.
But dude, people aren't bad. Like we had when all the stuff with BLM happening and whatnot, they came to Springfield. They had the most peaceful meeting ever. They were at the square. They were talking to people, and like it was just like, even like my family, because my family always likes Hispanic families, man. You know, they're like, oh my God, we saw that. That's so impressive, you know. But like everybody, like it's just so unique. You know, it's just so unique, and it's what I love. And I've never been, and I've been. You know, I haven't been to that many places, but I've been to a couple places in the world that I'm just like, what's the
population of Springfield?
That's a good question. I think it's 125,000. 125. Google it real quick. Yeah. Jamie, pull that up. Are you going to get yourself a Jamie?
For me.
You know, I'd want it to 168, 122, 2018 is that number.
168. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So
what did you say?
125,000.
Yeah. Looks like 2019. It might have been a little lower.
Yep. And the Hispanic population just keeps growing in town. It's going to keep growing, dude. It's going to happen in Arkansas. It's going to happen in Missouri.
It's been happening in Arkansas my whole life. Like,
you know why, right? Because everybody's leaving Texas. Everybody's leaving Texas. They're going to Oklahoma, to Arkansas, and then Missouri. That's why whenever things happen, I'll be fine.
Like, I wonder about this exodus of people from larger cities, like we're talking about with Joe Rogan earlier, but you know that's going to be happening from like the cities that were hit the hardest.
What do you mean, like exodus? Like people coming from?
Oh yeah, well, like places that cost of living's already insane.
California has a lot of people leaving.
New York
because of that.
New Jersey, right?
Yeah, New Jersey.
Those three states are going to have exodus.
Yeah, because Florida actually had a boom in population, and so did Texas. And
Brandon Quick,
you asshole! You have me Googling what exodus means, and now I got to find the definition of everything. I hate
the exit.
The exit. Damn it!
But Texas already put up signs, billboards, and they said, "Don't California my Texas," because they have so many people from California.
I figured that was going to happen. I just like.
But don't bring your policies here. That's why you're leaving.
That's why you're leaving. But like. for us, like for me, like the number one thing is like it's gonna make business boom, you know, both comedy and languages.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually, you know, jiu-jitsu, you know, it'll help too, you know what I'm saying? But like the comedy scene in Texas is gonna blow up with Joe Rogan down there, bro. Yeah, think about the people that he knows that he can bring. It's kind of like when you asked me, it's like, dude, how do you know that many freaking people? I was like, yeah, just think of like that, like one person like can plug in their network and be like, hey guys, it's super cool down here. You guys should come down here.
Dude, that's been like a lot of my approach with guests. It's like you find like a little nook. Like I was like, yeah, I'll hit up all these people. Right. And that'll be like the little nook. But it's like then all of their audiences, like we're talking about being guests on the other podcasts, all of their audiences will consume that. And, But that has been like the biggest. Man, it's crazy how much traction that I get with this podcast on Facebook and audio versus everywhere else, like YouTube, but like my main audio hub.
Nice.
But
well, you have a nice setup.
Yeah. And man, I'm looking forward to what's that?
No, I didn't know audio would be that.
Audio does well. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a couple of the things and I was like, oh, it must be, he just rented that or something. Like silly me. Like, no, he owns that. See, and this is kind of like what I'd like to have, like in a 12 by 15, just to have my own.
That's about what my room was at home. I think it was.
That's what I like to do. My wife wants me to do it, but it's just like.
Why don't you do a podcast?
Shut up,
dude. You could quite literally. This mic could allow you to podcast. Like I've got another one of these, but it's got settings on it here where you can make it go to where it's just me and you.
Yeah.
Just me or
that's dope. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah. So, but I've got two of these.
See, that's what I need to get so I can also stream because I play video games too. Like I play PUBG and stuff like that.
Dude, I want to.
Nuts.
That's one thing I am gonna do. Dude, I'm gonna get like some vintage. I told Corey, I was like, with the COVID and shit, I'm like, let's get rid of the seating area and let's put a bunch of fucking arcade games. Like only martial arts themes. Right? Turtles in Time, Mortal Kombat 2, Street Fighter, Tekken. Right?
The first jiu-jitsu / arcade in the world. Like all the nerds like would be going and they'd be like, that's not realistic. Come here, let me see a flying Barato Plata. Like I can see how that would go very wrong.
You used to do the first karate one. You remember that one? The one guy in red and the one guy in white.
Oh my god, the Atari one.
The Atari one.
Yeah. Did you remember Karate Kid for regular Nintendo?
Yes, I do.
I was watching Karate Kid last night.
I do.
And I was thinking about it because he was doing that. That was one of the levels you would catch the flies.
Oh yeah, catch the flies. Yeah.
That's just that's just insane to me. The level of efficiency that video games have come. I remember when Final Fantasy VII came out. It's like, oh, it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, dude, I remember that.
And then you beat it and you're like, motherfucker.
Or like Zelda Ocarina of Time, like going back to that now.
Jesus,
you're just
like, that was like
this blew my mind when I was a kid, like big time. And now I'm just like,
That's why I watched anime since I was a kid, man. Anime always has really good, rich storytelling and stuff like that. I just love it. I love it. I love anime.
What's some of your favorite anime?
Growing up was Rurouni Kenshin Samurai X, which I rewatched it as an adult, and it's like a lot more complicated than I thought because it's the story of Batosai the Manslayer during the Tokugawa era, I think it was, where he was like an assassin. And then he tries to redeem himself by living a life of like not killing and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So like you see like how the evolution of the character goes, and it's nuts. You know, obviously Dragon Ball Z. I watched Dragon Ball Z just because everybody wanted to be a Super Saiyan when they were like a kid, I guess.
Like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell too. That was a good one.
Vampire D.
Vampire D I saw later on, but that was 97, I think. Yeah. And then Neo Genesis Evangelion, which I watched as an adult, and it actually is super complicated because it's about like the Bible. So if you watch it, you have to watch it with like the mentality of like you've read the Bible before and stuff like that. And you're going to be like, oh my God, this is really trippy. And then that took another 10 years for them to put the end of Evangelion. So I saw that and I was like, Jesus, it took forever. And then Orphan, which they just remade. Mm-hmm. Pokemon, obviously.
Is Avatar Last Airbender considered anime?
It's not, but the animation is so good that some people in the community, like it's like, you know, because anime comes from Japan. It's like a multi-billion-dollar industry.
You see that Sturgill Simpson? He did the soundtrack for this one anime film.
No,
I've listened to the album,
really,
but I haven't listened to it watching. So what I would like to do is a podcast where I watch the anime film and listen to the album. Hold on, let me look this up real quick.
What's it called again?
Sturgill Simpson anime, and let's see what the name of the film is. Sturgill Simpson's Netflix anime is a badass apocalyptic companion to his new album.
What's it called? The anime?
I'm looking for the name.
It's on Netflix, really?
Yeah.
Netflix has a bunch of anime.
Oh, do they?
Bunch of anime.
Sound and Fury anime film. Sturgill Simpson's furthest departure.
See,
Real country
my
music.
taste in films is a little bit different. Cause
He's doing a bluegrass
Balls of
album
Fury,
followed up.
Jesus.
Airplane.
It's Sound and Fury. The film Sound and Fury, released on Netflix September
and Fury.
27th. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have to see that. I've been watching a lot of anime on Netflix. They got Baki and they got Kinguken or whatever the heck that's
I'm
called.
just saying you should catch up with the classics.
Dude, we watched Skulls
Classics are
yesterday.
good.
No,
Skulls? What's that?
With second time I thought about Paul Walker since we've been podcasting, because there's a crazy movie about kids getting abducted. Paul Walker was in. I was thinking about when you were talking earlier, called Running Scared. But it's got Paul Walker in it, and it's got Jeremy Jackson. He was in like Cruel Intentions and like Dawson's Creek and shit.
I know Dawson's Creek and I know Cruel
I'll show
Intentions.
you. He was in Mighty Ducks.
These are for the first time in my life someone saying like American
I know
actors that I
thinking
actually
Joker.
know who they are. Because normally I look at you and I go, who's that? But for the first time I feel like I'm knowing. Because I saw Dawson's Creek, unfortunately. My wife likes that show.
Yeah, that's something you can't.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
My wife's like, you've never seen this? No, I've never seen this.
Joshua Jackson.
Like I just don't like. It's kind of like The
That guy.
Notebook.
He's in Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
He's in freaking Mighty Ducks.
He was a lot
dude.
shorter then.
But yeah,
Mighty Ducks.
it's about the skull and bones.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, Skull and
Oh,
Bones.
okay.
I
I've
did
never
see
seen that. I know what you're talking about,
It's
but
a
not
damn good movie, dude. It's a damn good. But yeah, we watched that yesterday. But like we were talking about movies I hadn't seen in a long time. I wanted to rewatch. I was like, "What about 7 Years in Tibet?" My wife's like, "I've never seen that." And
That's
I'm
a
like,
good movie.
We've
That's a
seen
really
it like
good
twice
movie.
together. It's fucking great. I was like, "You remember they have to move the worms before they can build the building?" And she's like,
I was watching Enemy. I think it's called Enemy of the State with Johnny Depp. I was getting
Wasn't Johnny
confused. It wasn't. No, it's Public Enemy. Public
"Oh
Enemy.
yeah. I
Love
watched that
movie.
recently."
Love that movie. Love that movie.
I thought you were gonna say Enemy at the Gates.
No.
You ever seen that?
Public Enemy, that's Will
I know, that's the
Smith.
horror
That's
one.
Gene
Jude
Hackman.
Law and Ed Harris, the two
Oh,
snipers.
no. That's a sniper movie.
Stalingrad
Yeah.
or Leningrad.
I thought you were talking about the Ninth
Damn
Gate.
good.
I thought you were talking about
Oh,
the
that's
Ninth
another
Gate.
good one. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
with Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Ninth Gate's
I don't
great.
remember the one with Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
Ninth
sure.
Gate, yeah, where he like
He's damn it, it's been so many years. I love horror movies. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like
dude.
Rion or The
'Cause he
Ring
was
and all
in
that stuff.
He was in that. Johnny Depp was in Tourist. Which
Tourist. I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's very screwed up.
oh, I just read
More screwed up than Hostel.
Hell's Angels, Hunter S.
Hell's
Thompson.
Angels.
And
Not that.
Fear and
Probably
Loathing's
about-
on my list next, but there's another.
I want to see that movie.
Rum Diaries or something like that.
I haven't seen
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's-
But Johnny Depp was in a film about it, apparently.
Yeah, he was.
So, yeah, about,
He's
Rum
been
Diaries is actually based on a book that he wrote. It was actually a true story. So.
yeah, he's been doing pretty good with that whole divorce thing of his. Apparently
Oh, I
there's
thought you were
been
going to
a-
say the pirate movies. He has done really good with the pirate movies.
Yeah, he did really good with the pirate movies. They fired him because of the accusations and whatnot. Have you been following that?
Yeah, a little bit, dude. Okay, so
It's-
speaking of
it's
accusations,
crazy.
you guys know Ray Park. You know who that is?
No.
He's the dude that plays Darth Maul in
Oh, okay.
in
Darth
Star
Maul.
Wars.
Okay.
Right.
What happened?
So he accidentally uploaded a video to his Instagram of his wife giving him a BJ.
Oh my God.
So then all these rumors began circulating like, okay, well, they split up because she was cheating on him and he did this to get revenge. And then it was like, okay, well, his Instagram's been hacked and these people are exploiting him. But then it was like, no, I just accidentally put that on there. My bad.
Oh my
But he's
God.
apparently like, he was in the Solo film. Han
Yeah.
Solo, right?
Yeah.
At the very end, he made this little cameo, but
Yeah.
he's been in the Clone Wars cartoon. So it's like there's this.
I thought he was in Revenge of the
Nerds.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, wasn't he?
No, he was in Phantom Menace,
He was in.
and then he was.
I'm
in
confusing him with someone
He was
else
in
then.
Solo.
Yeah, I'm confusing him with someone else then.
He's got black and red face, like horns around it.
Yeah. But
I'll check it out.
Oh, here I got a dank meme. to
Pull
show
it up,
you. Hold
Jamie.
on.
Pull it up, Jamie.
This This is a hilarious man.
But he made 3. He did a cameo in Han Solo, but I think he was actually in 3 different Star Wars movies.
I wonder what's going to happen with the Star Wars franchise now that
Because the
Disney
Phantom
owns
Menace,
it.
and then the one after that. He was
Okay. Yeah. All right.
See, Qui-Gon Jinn cuts him in half in Phantom Menace.
Yeah, I remember that. So
Darth Maul or
so he accidentally
Darth-
uploaded that.
he accidentally uploaded.
doesn't-
Yeah,
that
and Cora
doesn't-
was like, "You don't accident." But anyway, so the rumor on the street is that Disney has fired his ass over this, and that he's not going to be Darth Maul anymore. A friend of mine, Caleb Plank, who owns the Inferno gyms in Northwest Arkansas, he's had lunch with the dude because the guy's a martial artist. You know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I didn't know
so-
that. Jiu-jitsu or there's so many people doing jiu-jitsu now. So many celebrities. It's ridiculous.
But I don't think he's going to make too many more. I mean, Darth Maul's dead.
I
don't
think
know how many
he's
times
done.
he can.
Well,
I
and so
think he's
the
done
theory
with
is
this.
that him getting chopped in half, falling down the thing didn't kill him.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, right.
His brother did like a forbidden Civ spell where he came back with like some mechanical parts and whatnot. It's on the animated one, I think.
Have you guys seen Grandma's Boy?
Fuck yeah, we've seen Grandma's Boy, bro.
Thinking about getting robot legs.
We're comedians.
It's a risky operation. Dude,
Why do you want a lion? I told my wife, I was like, can we get a lion after seeing the Joe Exotic stuff?
Oh my god.
She's like, no. I'm like, they're $1,200.
Have you guys been to Eureka Springs? They've got
No.
the big cat sanctuary up there.
No.
But like they have a ton of Joe Exotic tigers that went there.
God.
Yeah.
Any ones that have eaten people or?
I don't know, dude. That's what a fucking crazy show. You get somebody getting their arm bit off, like a gay dude accidentally shoots himself in the head.
Oh
like
my God.
maybe accidentally like
Actually, I haven't actually watched
God.
the Tiger King.
You don't want to watch it. Just don't watch
you
it.
watch it?
I did.
Oh.
I
dude,
did.
it's another
Don't watch
20.
it. You're the
It's a
one that
Monster
said
of the
don't
Week
watch it.
episode,
It's
dude.
that show just I remember people like, you need to watch it. Just get past the
Everybody
first
kept saying you
episode.
need
I'm
to
like,
watch it.
why?
I was
It's like,
like,
just get past the first episode. And then the ending of the first episode, I was like, Carol Baskins. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened here? Like, this is not what I expected.
I never
Like,
seen it, and I know who Carol Baskin is.
yeah,
That's how
apparently it's all her fault. That's why we had the pandemic, because of Joe, whatever his name
Tiger
is.
King, Carol Baskin.
Gee.
Dude,
Jesus.
and the music he sings and shit.
Stop.
It's
Stop.
okay. And apparently, like when all this went down, it's like, oh my god, Tiger King's gonna get coronavirus. Like that was like a legit. Like people were like, get this dude out of jail. It came up at a COVID press
Oh my
conference.
God,
They're like,
stop. Stop.
he's like, all right, I'll look into pardoning him. Like,
Oh my God, stop.
like Don Jr. He tweeted
Oh my
about
God.
this shit.
Oh God. This is nuts. The guy who was in on Insider, I think, he was the guy who did the documentary, right? He lives in like the Netherlands or some stuff like that. And like he was super famous before. And I was like, damn, dude, like that's nuts. Like that whole story is just something out of like I don't know, man. It's just nuts.
No, I've never seen it, but
It's
everything
nuts.
I heard from it is
It's
you watch
everything.
it, you watch it just so you can rewatch it, go and say that didn't really happen, did it? And then you watch
It- hey,
it's
man.
like, it happened.
This is why nothing
How
amazes
did
me.
that
I'm just
actually
like, yep,
happen?
that's
It did. It was mind numbing. I was like, this is possible.
it's like a
People could become this.
It's like a train wreck happening and you see it coming, but you're just like, well, let's see what happens. Like, well,
I know what's going to happen.
yeah. No, you don't. The whole
don't
time
really?
you're seeing this, you're like, this is what's going to happen. Nope.
Really?
Nope.
You know that dude,
dude.
if when he gets out, it's going to be like a bazillionaire. Right?
my God.
Like, I mean, he's like you know him and you don't even need to see any show.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's one of the most
He
popular households
ran
names.
for governor and for mayor, and he got 24% or something like that
Yeah.
votes, something
Yeah.
crazy.
Hey, well, you know that guy you messaged me about, Cash Jackson? That motherfucker got 100,000 votes in the Illinois election. Whoa! In the governor's election,
Yeah.
gubernatorial.
Really?
All right, then.
Yeah, like that's a lot. I was like,
That is a
damn,
lot.
bro.
That's a town. That's almost Springfield.
Yeah, like that's a lot of that's
all
a
right.
lot of votes.
I wanted to run for governor of Puerto Rico. Just,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Me
I
and
think
my
the person
buddy.
in front of him got 200,000.
Yeah,
but I mean,
see?
for scale,
That's what I'm
fine.
saying.
I mean, yeah.
I told that to my dad jokingly. He called me like a minute later. He's like, they'll kill you. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but I could fix everything. It's like
Yeah, I could fix everything.
being there and like have my buddy, like, it's going to be the first, like, non-Puerto Rican person running stuff, like, vice president. It's like, we'll get him an interpreter, don't worry. These are just thoughts that, like, we had. And my dad's like, don't joke about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What's the worst that could happen? Can't be any worse than every other person that's robbed billions of dollars. Like, I'm in there for the people, guys.
That's not an exaggeration either.
Yeah.
You know,
bro.
This has been the stereotypical story of how people get into politics. It's like, it's surprising. Like,
But Puerto Rico,
a ton of politicians.
but Puerto Rico just like blew my mind because like even like after like everything that was happening, they had a guy who like basically their job is to patrol the ocean. Right, it's like a police force, part of the police force, and they caught like a ton of water, like bottles of water hidden, and they took a picture of it. And instead of them saying, hey, why did this happen? It's like, yeah, we fired that man. They were out there like fucking around and stuff like that, taking pictures that they shouldn't have been taken. I'm like, yeah, but how did those water bottles get in there? Don't worry about it. This picture was taken badly. This is a poor use of government stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, but we never addressed how we got the water bottles there, man. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff happening.
Yeah, it wasn't water in the bottles.
What was it?
God, I don't know. No, it was bottles of water. You just, God damn it, McElroy. It was water. It was bottles of water.
But what were they there for?
Because they were from the relief, from the hurricane relief.
Yeah,
they were hiding it.
Yeah.
Why were they hiding it? I guess we'll never know. We can speculate, but you know.
Yeah, apparently Trump. The idea was Trump didn't send any relief down there.
That was the story.
Yeah,
that was the story.
There was no relief, but we found also a warehouse.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And
like
then they found all these
and people were fucking rioting. The people were in uproar.
Do you have family there now?
Oh yeah, my entire family. My dad, my mom, my dad, my sister, my grandparents.
What family did you have in Texas? Is
my dad's?
Okay,
my dad's side. Cool. Yeah. Just my dad's side. My mom's side, like, doesn't know. Well, my real mom practiced social distancing for 32 years. So yeah.
So
maybe
she's real good at it.
Yeah, she's real good at it. Maybe she had COVID or something. I don't know.
She's seen it coming.
Oh, damn, dude.
I hope she hears that joke. My wife told me, so don't you dare fucking say that joke. It's funny because she sent me like money for my birthday and stuff like that, and I'm just taking that as reparations. So it's going pretty good. The relationship's going good.
You know, reparations worked out so well before World War II broke out.
Yeah, that's true.
Just trickled right on down into another war.
Would it be child support then? Like delayed child support then?
That's cool.
Oh man. Well, dudes, let's wrap this up and go get some eats, man. I'm fucking starving.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I rode a bike 5 miles before y'all got here and exercised this morning.
I did calisthenics this morning. That's all I did. And then just ate and then head over here.
What's that?
I drove through fog.
How was your drive on the way here?
Oh, the drive on the way here wasn't bad. It was super foggy.
Yeah,
it was my place.
Pretty nice drive. I like taking that drive.
Yeah, it's very calming. Yeah. I just needed a cigar. But yeah, man, you can find me on.
Yeah, dude. Go ahead and I know you probably don't have any shows coming up, but how can people get a hold of you?
We have a show in Joplin, Missouri on Saturday.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be at this pizza place. Just follow me on Facebook, man. You know, Richard Aviles, and then my Instagram's at Language Ninja. You'll follow me there, and then we have a t-shirt company. It's called Reds and Ricos. We got more designs. Yeah, man, no problem. We got more designs.
Do you have like an online store or anything?
We're on Amazon, actually. Okay, we're on Amazon. Dude. It's Reds and Ricos Clothing. And then we have like 3 shirts right now, but we got like 5 more coming out pretty soon. Cool. We're just waiting for Amazon to approve them and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just, people want to have me, they just call me. A lot of people know where to find me. I'm not hard to find.
My next gym shirt, and I'll see if I have one your size over there. Hold on. This is the one I'm most proud of, this shirt out of all the shirts we've ever done.
Oh, wow. That does look cool. I like that.
We don't have this one done yet, but I can go see what we do have. But it's like a grizzly bear, basically.
Yeah, it looks like a grizzly bear headdress. Yeah. He's cultural appropriating.
Yeah,
he's cultural appropriating. Yeah, Jesus exactly. Christ.
A grizzly bear wearing a headdress.
It's Native American.
Yeah. Is it a Native American bear? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Oh my God.
Or is it
we don't use the word Indians because
is it a black bear?
Is it a black bear? Is it a
that sounds terribly racist.
Arkansas was the bear state. Okay. Arkansas was the bear state.
All right, let's
teach
go
Arkansas
eat.
history.
Let's go eat.
I get a
Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying, he brought it up.
Thanks for having us, dude. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Oh, man.
Oh god. That's funny.